on the set.
Ready, three. Welcome back to Nerdattude Movie Podcast. It's just us three again, guys, because Anthony's off again. On his many adventures, he has a big heart this weekend. What you guys don't know is that every weekend in September, except when he's filming with us now, because we started the podcast last year. My brother is actually an ordained minister, so he can marry people. And every weekend in September that he's not with us, he's marrying lepers, which is really nice. Trying to do good for the disabled out there. So that's great.
Isn't it kind of tough if their ring finger comes off?
Yeah.
Shit.
I didn't want to say anything yet. I want to see how long Matt would go, but he's muted.
Well, what I said was pure gold, but you'll never know what it was now. Never. I'm sure we'll have footage from his recent outing. Now, is he going specifically to leper colonies, or is this just the lepers in the neighbor? Is it almost like when you find the Jewish people in a neighborhood to do the bat mitzvah?
I think he's doing a door-to-door.
Really? He's selling that
Yeah.
way? Are there a lot of lepers
Very
in
nice.
Illinois? Is there a big leper community, or more than I thought?
South Illinois.
South Illinois, okay. That does make sense. It does get a little deep woody.
Oh,
well,
boy.
all right. We'll look forward to him on the next episode, which is actually going to be recording for the first week of Halloween. So we are going to have 1 week where we aren't recording an episode, but I'm a little backlogged ever since I lost everything. I've got the Shell Beach episode to republish, or the Dark City episode, I should say. I've got last week's episode that we all four were in. And then I believe we have one more that us three were in. Maybe not. I gotta find out. But yeah, so we'll have some content going. But yeah, next time with Lewis will be the first week of Halloween. That's when you'll see him next. But yeah, tonight we are doing 3 martial arts movies. The first one is a little hard to pronounce. It's Rumble in the Bronx. That's the first one. Sorry,
Rumble in the Bronx.
These international movies are always hard to read. This is actually, it is a Hong Kong martial arts film, but they try so hard to be an American action movie. So hard, including in filming in fake New York City, Canada. Mm-hmm. But let's get to some business first. This movie cost them $7.5 million. I assume that is the exchange for whatever the Chinese currency is.
I didn't even think about that.
Either that, or maybe this, because it didn't cost. It wasn't American money. They were using, so I don't know if that's the translation or whatever. But overall, $7.5 million to make. It brought in $76 million, which is a commercial success to a large margin. It did prove that Jackie Chan could appeal to a wider international audience. That's why when you watch the trailer, it's like international action star, because this was like his first foray into American film.
True. Is that 76 million worldwide?
I'm going to assume that's just American. Let me look down and see if it says anything about budget as far as overseas or anything. Box office. So the North American run brought in 32 million. So I'm going to assume that's worldwide. So let's see how well it did. It opened on almost 1,800 North American screens. Grossed $9 million per screen. Or whatever. Or
opening weekend.
6,000 per screen, sorry. One of the year's top 20 highest grossing rated R films. North American box office brought in $32.3 million. It sold 7.3 million tickets. I mean, it grossed in Europe 801,000. So it's a little bit distributed, but I think that's the worldwide. Oh, so it is a worldwide box office of 76 million. Okay. So not amazing when you compare them to the blockbuster Transformers type movies, but on a $7.5 million budget, did pretty well. It opened up the world to Jackie Chan a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, my question to you guys is, what was your first Jackie Chan movie?
Oh, let me scroll back down. I was actually doing Cannonball. Cannonball Run. Yeah.
Okay.
It was either
he wasn't a major role in it, but he was in most of that movie.
It was either Super Cop or Jackie Chan's First Strike.
Okay.
I think it was probably Super Cop, and then moved on.
Mine was
like rumble.
Mine was First Strike. I remember First Strike first.
It's an excellent movie.
Yeah, it's really good. And then I discovered Drunken Boxing, and I was like, oh my god.
So we do have to talk about Jackie Chan kind of being an acquired taste. For a long time, he was like the it guy in martial arts because there wasn't a whole lot of other factions. I mean, you had like, when you think about martial arts stars, you had Bruce Lee, you've had Jackie Chan, Chuck Norris to a degree, Steven Seagal to a degree, Jean-Claude. So you got like a dozen. You don't have a huge listing of dudes that cross those realms. But then you got to isolate movie action martial artists from legit. So the legits are Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen, Chow Yun-fat. Like, all those guys are the legits that crossed over. And then you have the fakes, which Seagal, when he was originally young doing it, it was real. But the motherfucker's been fake since 91.
Mafia actually funded a lot of his movies, to be honest.
So
the Mafia did?
So there's a story behind it where basically this is when he, like, you guys remember the movie Glimmer Man?
Yeah.
So Glimmer Man was made when he wanted to stop doing violence in movies. There's actually a famous story. There's the scene where he kills the guy in the church. And the actor who plays the guy that gets killed actually had to convince Steven Seagal to kill him in the movie. Steven Seagal was all about doesn't want to do violence. And apparently he didn't want to do those kinds of movies anymore, but the mob was fun. They weren't, I don't know if they were in the take somehow. They were getting a percentage of his shit. And they wanted him to keep making movies. So I don't remember what organization the guy was with, but he did an interview and tells the story about basically he was brought into a room and he was so scared he shit his pants.
Seagal did?
Yeah, that he was he was literally on the ground sobbing, begging them not to hurt him. And he goes, and the guy, it's like an old fucking New York mobster. So he's like, I tell you right now, that boy shit his pants.
That's kind of like Vanilla Ice when he met Suge Knight.
Vanilla Ice, hold on, not that tangent, because I'm literally watching the season that he's on in Surreal Life, so not yet. That's going to fuck my flow badly. But that's the story behind that, is basically the mob who was getting a cut of his film said, no, we want you to keep making these movies, and he didn't want to, and they threatened him. Like, they didn't, like, from what
You're representing New York very, very, very well.
He's not even Italian. Like, he's not fucking Italian. And, like, there's actually a video on YouTube that goes through, like, his various accents and his various claims of heritage. Like, he claims that he's the first white guy to own a dojo in Japan for his martial art, which isn't true at all. The dojo he was in, that he was teaching in, was his father-in-law's, because he was married to a Japanese woman. He never had his own dojo, but he claims he fought the master of his martial art, or he learned under him, but the guy was dead 20 years before he even got to Japan. So there's lots of,
Well, he beat him.
Well, he may have beat him by not being. The guy was dead.
He probably danced on his grave.
Literally, Steven Seagal was 4 before the guy fucking died. So you know what I mean?
He walked over to his tombstone.
Told you I'd last longer. And then, like, you read the stories of the stuntmen bitching about the guy being overly aggressive and really hitting them, and he's just a piece of shit.
I've heard that a lot.
Basically, Seagal's just a wild piece of shit. He for whatever reason still has celebrity. Maybe because he belongs in Russia. Let him stay with the Euro trash that'll make love to him and feed him vodka and whatever the fuck they're gonna give him. Like, he makes garbage fucking movies now. The last good movie he made was Marked for fucking or Exit Wounds, and then he, I just bought Above the Law because it was $5 on iTunes. Great movie.
Saw that.
Great movie. Awesome movie. Above the Law, Marked for Death, Hard to Kill, Out for Justice, and Exit Wounds. Those are his, 5 movies you can legitimately watch. Then you got the garbage, like Fire Down Below, which was his last theatrical movie, basically. Fire Down Below. Half Past Dead was the movie where he's obese in prison and he's wearing a do-rag to try to fit in with Ja Rule. Fucking horrendous. And then you go on
Didn't they do 2 of those?
Well, they did a sequel. I don't think he was in the sequel, even though, I don't know. I mean, he's basically just, they're just basically like, all right, so we're going to get your fat ass in here, and you're going to do this, and then the camera's going to cut to behind you, and your not as fat stunt double's going to do the move. And that's his entire fucking career now. Just try to watch any Steven Seagal movie post not 2007, and it's literally like there's a scene where he fights Mike Tyson in one of his garbage movies, and half of the fucking scene is stunt double.
Oh.
And then it's like Mike Tyson punches him in the stomach with his Mike Tyson punch, and he acts like he's tough. It's like, bro, you're fucking Jello. You're a fat fucking pig. That would have destroyed you. Like, fuck off.
When we were working in the video store, people would come in and ask for every one of his fucking movies, and we've got like 17 of them, and like, sorry, we don't have them in.
They're literally
can you check?
It's 2010, right? Special Force 3 is the new Steven Seagal movie, and these motherfuckers are like, you got that new one? And it's like, nah, we're checked out. And he's like, how is it? And I don't watch them because it's garbage. And I would say, I didn't watch it, but it looked really bad. Yeah, I still like Steven Seagal, man. And it's like,
I'm still gonna watch it. It's Steven
you're
Seagal.
a fucking idiot, bro. Like he literally used to be able to throw the leg up here, and now the leg like somewhere around. He's got hip pain because he eats too much fucking fried chicken, and he's gotten too fat, so he can't lift the leg anymore. And it's just. He's just a piece of garbage. Like, seriously, fuck Steven Seagal.
He can't get out of his SUV fast enough for his reality show.
He's a Russian citizen now, too. I saw...
he's a what?
A Russian citizen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they,
is that where he's a cop?
No, that was Louisiana.
No, that was Louisiana,
That was Louisiana with his, his patronistic, I'm from the same, I'm fucking Cajun, too. Fuck Steven Seagal, bro. He's from fucking Michigan. Fuck Steven Seagal. You're not Cajun. You're not black. You're not Southern. You patronistic fuck. There's a video from him in the 90s after Brandon Lee died where he's going, yeah, we don't even use real guns in our movies. And I don't know how he died, but I'm going to figure it out. Did you figure it out, you fucking piece of shit? You fucking sexual assaulting fat fuck? Well,
how many years has it been? He became a Louisiana.
Oh, I don't know. About 30 years too late. He's been dead for a fucking while. I'm going to name this episode Fuck Steven Seagal simply for this, because he's a piece of shit by all accounts. I don't care that he's a Russian citizen, frankly. Enjoy him. You can watch his terrible movies. But
let him fight the bear.
Yeah, literally, I hope he does a movie where he's like, I'll fight the bear. And then the bear, it's literally just his stunt double.
But I'm not going to kill him.
No, it's just a stunt double, because, of course, he's not filming. He's in the trailer right now practicing chi or some shit. And the bear gets loose and specifically mauls him to death.
Straight to his trailer.
Like the stunt double just walks past him, and like he's in the toilet, and it just rips that side of his trailer out and fucking eats him whole. Like he is literally taking credit for UFC fighters' moves. The fucking delusion this guy is under. Fuck Steven Seagal. From me to you. Back to the movie that has nothing to do with him.
Let's get back to this guy.
None of these movies do. Rubble in the Bronx. And here's the thing is, these reviews aren't going to be long, because frankly, these are reviews that divulge into, oh yeah, man, this scene was really cool. Because let's be real, Rumble in the Bronx's story is razor thin. I mean, it's
all over the place.
Yeah, Jackie Chan comes into New York City, Canada, to help his uncle with his wedding, and in turn help the lady who's buying his uncle's grocery store.
Well, he didn't know that he was selling the grocery store at first.
Yeah, that comes into play. But my point is, it's all within like the first 5 minutes. Like it goes from airport to like, oh, you're getting married, to I'm going to sell, and it's like, okay, he just got literally he hasn't slept yet.
and as they're driving to the place, it's like these high walls with a almost every place has a fucking train above them.
Yeah.
And it's graffiti.
Yeah.
Like the Bronx graffiti. The style of graffiti is kind of like neon paint.
Yeah, and it looks like it's written by people who don't speak English natively.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Like what the fuck?
But that's the other thing is, you could literally, as you're watching this movie, when they come into New York, I was expecting to see like the Shutterstock stock footage above the New York clip, because they didn't film any of this movie in New York. Like they
did use stock footage though. They did use stock footage.
Because if they didn't, you would have had literally like there's a scene when the New York City Police Department is in their boats at the end, and they show them. There's a scene where you see the tall buildings and mountains in the background. There's no mountains in New York City. Last time I checked, it's ridiculous. But you don't watch these movies for that. Giovanni, what do you watch these movies for?
It's for Jackie Chan, the kung fu, the action,
all of the good and bad. You get
Yeah.
the amazing fight choreography mixed with the weird sound effects
Well-
and ooh, 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 ooh when he rubs his nose, like that, like Three Stooges with meets fucking kung fu.
They did address the fact that they were trying to hide the mountains as much as they can in the filming, and Jackie Chan said, "Do the best you can, but it's not really a priority because nobody cares about that. They want to see the action."
$7.5 million budget. What are you gonna do? You can't film it in New York City. You're filming it in Canada because it's cheap and kind of looks like New York City.
Well, I think the reason why they couldn't film it in New York City was because of insurance.
Probably.
That makes sense.
I would imagine if you tried to film that movie in the United States, the budget is $20 million and not 7.5. That sort of thing.
It would have been because of insurance because Jackie Chan is
a liability and a half.
Yeah,
he does all his own stunts. Yeah.
Is it purist? Is that what I'm trying to say?
He's a purist. Yeah, he's a kung fu purist.
I wouldn't.
He does.
I don't know about
no. He's just an acting purist.
You mean a
communist? He does all his own
stunts. Did I say the wrong word?
He does all his own stunts.
Maybe.
He's a
you just said purist. You just said purist in another language. That's all it is. It's just Matt's multilingual here.
Sorry, every time I hear purist, I just think communist. That got nothing to do with his anti-Hong Kong sentiment.
This movie is super wacky. It is super goofy. But you come because we were talking earlier before we started. Jackie Chan does his own stunts. The choreography, when it comes to the kung fu fighting, is pretty badass.
He did an interview.
It's mostly him too. Working with
he did an interview with Jay Leno, I think is what. And Jay Leno's like, why do you do these? Why don't you talk to the guy who choreographs the stunts? He goes, I do it. It's me. And it really like that. It's all he does his own stunts. He choreographs the fight scenes. And here's the thing: Rumble in the Bronx literally is one of his best and one of his worst at the same time, because I do encourage you to watch Police Story, First Strike, Operation Condor, 1 and 2 Armor of God. Drunken Master is probably one of his best movies of all time. But watch his old school ones to really see, because back then he was inventing this shit. That's what people don't understand is a lot of what's carried over today. He, along with guys like Jet Li and shit, and John Woo and Chow Yun Fat, gunplay, the way you see it now is done partly because of how John Woo filmed it. So, all these things blend into the modern. You don't have John Wick without Jackie Chan. You just don't.
That's true. Yep.
Well, there was one thing that I remember Jackie Chan said where he's they're like, why do you have these kind of movies like this where you're fighting people and you have all this comedic shit in there? He goes, because you could take a gun away from a person if you know what to do. He goes, but I want to make it more elaborate, so I want to take it away and pretend like I'm fumbling around, like I'm not sure what I'm doing. And he goes, and then I want to be the one that's on top. So he says.
I mean, he literally integrates sleight of hand, like you're saying, into his movies. Look at the scene where they're fighting in in their hangout area and on the pool table with the bottles. That's an old school Charlie Chaplin type stunt.
Yep.
Marx Brothers type thing. So it's interesting how if you're just an average I'm gonna watch the movie, you may not pick up on that sort of shit because it is old school. There's a lot of 50s American type, the cartoony Looney Tunes-ish way it's done is very old school. So you're right. There is a weird, as Giovanni said before, they're 2 decades behind us in pop culture type shit.
Yeah.
So that you definitely see that influence in this. I never thought that's where the Three Stooges type slapstick comes from. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I never thought of it in that aspect. Yeah.
Because he did have
at the same time. I don't see any other actor being able to pull that off except Jackie Chan.
Well, I mean, you had Jet Li, but the problem with Jet Li is when he tried to do the goofiness, it didn't come off the same.
He's too serious.
Jet Li needed to be a serious fight scene guy. He couldn't do I don't know. Scott
these
Adkins
3 movies
does. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
These 3 movies that we're reviewing, they have a category. So there's the comedic,
Kung Fu.
Martial arts, Kung Fu, and then there's the serious.
More of
the serious actor.
Thriller movie with awesome fight, Kung Fu fight. Kiss of the Dragon to me is much more of an international thriller that has amazing fight scenes.
And then there's martial arts with a little bit of the over the top.
The Raid? The Raid is all the way. You got to remember, The Raid in 2011, you don't have John Wick without the fucking Raid.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the other thing is they're only getting better. I mean, look at the evolution they've gotten. You got The Raid, Headshot, Night Comes for Us, Raid 2. Like, you've got these movies they've made now that, in my opinion, have kind of changed the industry for the better.
But those are the three categories that we have in this genre of this.
My wife was actually really happy to find out Kiss of the Dragon wasn't like a goofy action movie. She really liked it because it actually had a decent story to it. And I love the French guy. The time for diplomacy is over. Now it's the time for action. Same guy from The Patriot.
I was waiting for him to wear his fucking blue suit.
Yeah. I love that. That's such a great scene of The Patriot, though, when they're getting out of their tent and they're like, guess we're going to war, huh? And the French guy is like, whew. Like, he's got that, like, pride. I love it.
That white suit.
He's trying to fit in his suit that he gained too much weight.
So, are you guys familiar with Mads Mikkelsen, or whatever how you pronounce his name? He's, if you've seen Polar, he was the bad guy from Casino Royale. He was Hannibal in the Hannibal TV show.
Okay.
He's got a movie that's coming out on Hulu at the end of the month called Riders of Justice. It's a foreign film, but I'd love to review it because it's all about this guy who I think he's either a military or a contractor or something, and he comes back into town because his wife dies in a car accident, and he kind of gets wind it wasn't an accident. So it's like him and his biker buddies crew. It's labeled as an action comedy. I saw it listed on Hulu the other night, but I couldn't watch it. It wouldn't let me watch it at all, and then I read online that it's not out until the end of the month, so they fucked up. They already had the placard out. If you guys don't want to review it, just tell me, like, watch the trailer, check it out. But it is a movie I think it would be good. I really want to see. I like certain foreign films, and it's one of I really like him.
I don't mind doing foreign films.
If you've never seen Netflix's Polar, watch it. It's amazing. If you've never seen Hannibal the TV show, watch it. Valhalla, I believe he's in, where he plays.
Valhalla is really good.
Yeah, where he plays a mute like Viking.
Yes.
That's an amazing. I mean, the dude is. If you've seen Casino Royale, he's the guy with the weeping eye. He's the bad guy. But yeah, no, he's awesome. Probably my favorite international actor at this point. But sorry, back to Rumble in the Bronx. You guys go ahead. Anything that you want to say about it? I don't want to step on toes.
This movie to me feels like a parody. You have the what's it called? The post-apocalyptic gang. You have the underdog in the movie, and Jackie Chan plays a really good underdog. I think that's why a lot of people like him.
Let me stop you for a second. That's not a post-apocalyptic gang. That is what they thought gang members look like in the U.S.
Don't you know that's what every gang in the Bronx looks like?
That was not post-apocalyptic.
One black dude, a weird Italian, an albino white guy, some Asians thrown in, and some Spanish girls. Yes. Like, that's a Bronx gang to me.
That's what they thought a gang looked like in the.
Well, you know
US.
why there's only one black dude, right? Because they're fucking racist in China, and they didn't want any more than that in there. Like, we have to have one, and they're like, if you say so. Like, they didn't want him in there. Like, that's the problem.
Well, in that gang, you mean, or in the movie?
In the movie,
there was two black dudes,
and they kill the one. They throw him in a fucking wood chipper.
Yeah, they throw the big guy in the wood chipper.
But I'm talking about the guy in the store at the beginning when
but he's the one that carries in the bago friend.
No.
Yeah, he's got like the weird devil hair.
No. There was a guy that goes, "Oh my God, is that Kung Fu?" He's like,
and you notice how goofy he is. He's like a ripoff of Chris Rock, but just a weird
He's like a real stereotypical.
He's terrible.
Like, yeah.
Can you teach me some of that?
Like it's literally like they watched Beverly Hills Cop and was like, "Good idea."
That's what we're doing.
It's terrible, dude. Like. This movie, like, you understand it,
and the fiance.
Well, and not only that, but like, the shit of like even the English language is dubbed over and the mouths don't match.
So,
like, Jen was watching it and she thought she was having a fucking stroke because she's like, it's not. I don't know, something. I think the audio's off. And I was like, no, it's not off. It's just really shitty dubbing.
Yep.
The entire movie was re-recorded, because they had Jackie Chan speaking in Cantonese and the other actors, and then all the American actors were speaking English.
Well, see, and the problem with that is like
they couldn't match it, so they deleted everything and started over.
They even have that scene where he's like, "How's your English?" And he's like, "It's okay." And it's like, why even have that scene if
it doesn't match up?
Yeah.
Why have that scene if the whole thing is fucked up? Like, the only line that was properly voice synced was when he speaks Chinese to him, telling him he wished they would be friends next time. The only line in the entire, and it's so, like, if I could get a straight Cantonese version of that movie with subtitles, would much prefer that shit. Much prefer.
But unfortunately, they didn't record it that way. They did, like I said, they did cancel.
It's one of those movies that like
and they fucked it up.
Why
like that.
hasn't Shout Factory tried to bring it back and gotten like the original language track or something? Like it's got to be somewhere, man. Maybe they burned it during a propaganda thing. I don't know.
But this also has I guess mobsters, like a mob boss dude.
Well, they're basically he's like mob meets CIA, but they're not CIA.
Yes.
And then like
the FBI.
So the tall white guy, right, the one that's like the leader of that little Men in Black group. I've seen him in other martial arts movies, and you can kind of see it, but he's a big dude. Like he is a thick, muscular dude, and he specializes in kickboxing kicks. I've seen him in movies where he fucks people up with his kicks like Sagat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, like, that's the thing is, like, you get guys like that they underuse as this stupid, shitty fucking FBI guy, and it's like, Then you get the tall, fatter guy who ends up beating with the football helmet and all that.
Yeah,
He's been in a lot of those late 80s, early 90s martial arts movies. There's a bunch of dudes that you could tell were like, oh, we need a generic older black male and an older white male to play older detectives. Like, and then you could tell where it's like, well, that stuntman used to be a backup actor, now he's in this movie. Like, you could tell.
Unfortunately, they're all marked as a White Tiger Gang.
Yeah.
So they don't have, like, a lot of them don't have IMDb's.
Is it just me or does it remind you of the Cobras from Dodgeball? The White Tiger Gang? They should come in with a synchronized dance and shit.
And then just to top it off, when this movie was completed, they were like, what do we need? And somebody was like, how about a love interest?
Oh.
And that was just shoehorned in there, which was really great.
Jackie Chan's like, well, how old was he during this? 35, 40?
Ooh, how old is he now?
Let's see.
He's 67 now.
He's 67 now, and this was done in what, 95 at release?
95.
So we are 20 years... God, would be 2015, so we're... Jesus, 27 years. So he's how old?
Holy shit. 67?
So he was 40 when this movie, just like I said. And he's hitting on a 21-year... Like, his love interest is a 21-year-old. And, like, that was the best route for them, too. That's like, no, this will appeal to everybody. You know, it won't look weird. He's got muscles. And it's just like, it's still fucking weird. The guy had an illustrious career in Asia, in China, and all those markets for 25 years before this, or 20 years before this movie came out. Like, it's just weird to think. Like, he's also in those movies that he did in the late 90s. Like, there's one from, like, 96 where he's, like, the bodyguard to this girl that starts to fall in love with him. She's once again, like, 20, and he's at this point, gotta be 45.
So, yeah, he was, like, 18 years older than her. Because she was born in 72, he was born in 54.
So she was born that makes her, what, 23? When it was filmed, 22?
72 to 95?
Yeah, so 23, 95, 24, or 22 if it was filmed in 94. That's ridiculous.
That's weird.
And they thought that was the fucking, they don't care. Once again, it was the age of, like, and that's the thing that drives me nuts, is they have shit like that in the movie, but they remove the word shit with the overdubbing.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. But they did other fucking cuss words, but they removed the word shit.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Literally every fight scene, nobody takes damage, nobody's bloody except for like some bruising. Yet they have a scene where they whip bottles at him and he bleeds all over the place.
Which
that was weird.
That scene right there, he did have a problem with. He did say that he was worried that the parents would take their kids out because he wanted younger kids to see the movie.
And that definitely gave him a rated R. And then later on, when the guy's like, don't fuck with me, he says like fuck twice. It's almost like by the end of the movie, they're like, well, we're rated R anyways, let's make it more rated R.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
it's like they started trying for kids,
but then
in
it
the
goes
movie,
back, and
then
this is the unbalance of Jackie Chan movies, right? Because then it goes back to Goofy. The end of the movie is literally them running over the villain and like a cartoon. Mm-hmm. It strips him to bare ass, and then the end of the movie is literally ha. And Jen is like,
they let you drive this?
She looked at me like, what? That's it? That's the end of the movie? That's how they end the movie? And I'm like, yeah, but now they're gonna. But she's like, that's a horrible ending, and she's fucking right.
No, you should have been like, no, there was more, but there was an accident during filming, so this is where they cut it.
I'm gonna have to make excuses
for
why some of my favorite movies suck ass in certain ways. With that said, this is a movie I love. It's gonna honestly, I'm not gonna rate it on our normal scale. It's gonna be rated on like martial arts movie scale, so it'll be decently high. Which
Me too. I figured that too, because that's what when I was talking to Matt about this, we chose martial arts movies, and I'm glad we actually chose the spectrum because you got this one from '95, Kiss of the Dragon from 2001, and then we got The Raid, and it's a good view of
I'm gonna say this
where martial arts movies are.
Dead fucking serious. Kiss of the Dragon is one of the most underrated martial arts movies ever made.
It is. It absolutely is.
Nobody fucking talks about Kiss of the Dragon, but there are some fight scenes in that movie that you see today. You see influence of today. And when we get into it, it's a rough movie. It does not fuck around. It is not goofy. In virtually no way is it goofy. Even the scenes that are slightly goofy, like the beginning, for instance, take a really serious fucked up tone. Like, it is a very stark contrast to Rumble in the Bronx, and The Raid, obviously, I think is an even deeper, starker contrast to us, even from Kiss of the Dragon. But with that said, let's do final thoughts on Rumble in the Bronx. We'll give it the old Kung Fu hot dog. What is a Kung Fu hot dog? Let's call it Kung Fu hot dog because it sounds fun. Alex, final thoughts.
I really liked Rumble in the Bronx. I remember this movie, like as I was watching it, I was like rewatching it. I was like, wait a minute, I remember this scene. Like everything was just like I haven't watched it in like maybe 15 years, and I'm like I know what's gonna happen next already. I already know this. I already know that. You know, it was all memorable. Um, the cheesiness shit. After I did a little deep diving and you know and just seeing what I wanted to find out about it, it kind of made sense because Jackie Chan was a type of person where he didn't want to make a movie where he was alienating a certain crowd. But you said this was rated R?
Yeah.
But he was still worried about kids being able to see
that
movie.
But that bit him in the ass later on because later in his career he kept talking about how he wanted to be a serious actor and he wanted to be looked at as like a Robert De Niro and not just a kung fu guy. And I feel his Looney Tunes type shit in his movies is what kept him from ever reaching a real actor. Like, he should have been able to be in a real, like he was in the I can't remember what it's called, but his daughter basically gets killed in a bombing.
Yeah.
And he finds out that the IRA were behind it. And he goes, he's a former Chinese intelligence guy.
I can't remember that movie.
Bad. It's
actually a pretty good movie.
What year?
It is really good. Probably 5 years ago. Maybe less. It's a really good movie, actually.
Yeah.
He does, and it's not a bunch of kung fu.
It's not The Foreigner, is it?
It is The Foreigner.
Yeah, okay. That's it.
There's some action in it, but it's a drama, and it's just the problem is he got into that in his 60s. You know.
But
yeah.
If he would have done The Foreigner in 2005, he would have had a comeback.
He was still spry.
Yeah, he had a revival. I mean, Rush Hour, I think the third one came out around then. You know what I mean? Like, if he would have followed up some of that stuff with, and he did have really big American commercial success. You can't ignore. You got three Rush Hour movies based upon your character. You've got 2 Shanghai Night, Shanghai Noon movies based upon it. You've got Around the World in 80 Days, which was a Disney movie. So he had serious commercial American success. I don't know why. Like, maybe they're going to get him in the Expendables 4. Why hasn't he been in that?
Wow.
Why can't we get Jackie Chan in that movie to fuck people up? And I'm not even talking like goofy Jackie Chan. In no goof zone. Make him fucking nasty, brutal. Give me something I've never seen.
Holy shit, he's never been in Expendables.
No.
He would be good to fight Jet Li. Let him fight Jet Li.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
I think one of the things about him though is they still could have kept his comedic thing with it as far as his fighting style and just doing a little bit of that. But the whole comedic role that they tried to portray him as a comedic actor, not so much.
Well, see, that's the problem is, like, it makes sense in Drunken Master. I'd actually argue that his, like, facial expressions and shit, without those, Drunken Master isn't as good.
Rush Hour as well, and Shanghai
But
Noon.
even then,
that was perfect.
Because it was, like, American funny. Like, there is a difference between, like, and I don't mean it in any negative way, but, like, the Chinese, especially of when Jackie Chan was popular, kind of funny was really cartoonish. And, like, Rush Hour, at least, it brought the PG-13, it's PG-13 because of the other lines in that movie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What the thing with this one is, like, the aunt, the one that's going to marry the uncle, it was so comedic. It was like cartoony type. Hey, honey, and she's like kissing him on the
I
lips.
do like his face though, how he's got that like.
Yeah, like, oh, that's your fiance.
He expected
Yeah.
some like small Asian woman, and he got a big old black lady. It's fucking hilarious. It is
Yeah.
to me. I still find that part funny.
So,
I acknowledge
but,
it's
like-
cheesy as fuck though.
But that's the thing that they should have stayed away from was the cheesy shit.
I agree.
And this movie would have still been a fucking like 100%. I don't know. And I still really like this movie, but it would have made it more enjoyable. It would have been more serious
Yeah.
with the comedic roles in the comedy style fighting. That I'm still perfectly fine with that. So that's
Yeah.
my final thoughts on that. And,
Yeah, the goofiness. What is your kung fu dogs?
oh, we're doing the hot dogs
Yeah,
with
fuck
it.
it, we'll just go right with
Blue dogs.
It's probably not going to be as high as you guys because I'm going based
You're
on
never as high as me.
I'm gonna go with three hot dogs.
Come on, I had to get it in there.
So 3 hot dogs for me on this one.
Okay.
All right. I'll go into a little. There's one thing this movie does that is egregious. As a nerd, it's egregious. The kid is playing a Game Gear.
There's no disc in
There's no
inside.
cartridge in the. Literally,
There's no
you can see it, the
cartridge.
back of the Game Gear. There a cartridge fit in, and it would be solid, more or less flush. You can see there's no cartridge in the fucking thing, and the kid is bing, 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 bing. Egregious.
He was a horrible actor too.
Oh God, Kyung, and then like when he gets like, I do like this scene when he beats the shit out of the guy because it's like he hit the kid, so it is the ultimate comeuppance. But just
Yep.
the way he tosses him on the bed, and he goes, eh.
Yeah.
Both Jen and I were making fun of him hardcore.
Dude, the way he picked him up in the
Yeah,
hallway,
fuck,
just like, let's
a
go.
ragdoll.
Yeah, he picked him up by the belt almost, right?
Yeah.
Oh
man.
There's some goofy stuff. Some of the serious stuff does work, like when they find the wire, when they look through his hair, like that. That makes sense. For me, I like this movie. This is a childhood favorite. I'm gonna go martial arts scale. I'm gonna go. It's got to be a 3.5 because I do discount a lot because of the goofiness, especially because I'm gonna give the rate a 5, straight up. I'm not even gonna bullshit it, beat around the bush. I love that movie. I've watched that movie no less than 25 times. I've introduced so many fucking people to that movie. I have literally the rated version on my Vudu and the unrated on my iTunes. I love that fucking movie. But yeah, 3.5. I do the fight scenes you cannot argue are top notch, especially for the time. Memorable ones, and then the stunts. You have him jumping from a parking garage to an apartment complex. You have a lot of him doing some wild shit in this movie. The one scene where the guy with the truck full of balloons is like, "Get out of my truck," and he gets out, and then they smash. The only thing I could think of was like, if your stupid fat ass would have kept your fucking mouth shut and driven away, you'd still have your truck full of fucking balls. But you had to run your stupid mouth. You get what you deserve. If you've seen it, you understand. Yeah, easy
I
3.
think-
No.
I think they said something where there was like almost a snafu with that scene.
It
Where
looks
he almost
like
didn't make it out. Where he almost didn't make it out.
that angle that they're filming makes it seem very fucking tight. And then even when you see the long shot, you see him barely just clearing off the truck as it tips over. So I could believe that.
Yeah.
Other goofy shit, like, I find this scene funny because it would really hurt. But he rips the car antenna off and hits him on the ass.
Oh yeah.
Shit like that needs to be pulled out of the movie. If you did that, if you re-edited this movie, you got to leave in the cheese and the bad overdubbing. It is what it is. But you remove the extra goofiness. If you eliminated some of the, literally hits the guy with a bottle and it makes like you hit an iron sound like a frying pan.
Yeah. Like that cartoon sound.
And then in
doesn't
the
break.
same scene, right? The guy shoots in the air twice to stop it. And then he's like, "I'll fight you," and whips the gun. Like, if I made this movie, you'd hear, "Ah, my leg!" Like you'd have to have some, because he literally just whips a loaded gun behind him. Like, meh. Like, there's people everywhere.
That goofiness that like, that you're talking about leads into some pretty cool kung fu. Then it leads into what should have been more in the movie. It was was it the other black guy walking in with 2 full garbage bags of body parts?
Of his ground up buddy from
like out of nowhere.
That scene begins and it's already harsh.
That was Woody.
They're putting tree limbs into a wood chipper and it's projecting down onto them. Like, it's already bad enough, and then they throw his buddy in, and they're all looking in the bags, and then she's like, and my wife made a comment, because she goes, one of my friends got murdered. And she's like, one of your scum of the earth piece of shit friends? Who gives a fuck? I was like, that's a good fucking point. Why should he give a fuck? Fuck these people. You are garbage. You are the scum of the earth. The way he's overdubbing on some of them. What's that?
Yeah.
It is.
He was about uniting them.
Then the movie takes a weird turn where it does go from like kung fu to like he just shoots the one guy in the leg.
Yeah.
And like it's just like, okay, I guess we're this type of movie now. It is horribly unbalanced. It's like they watch Steven Seagal movies and like, this is what Americans want. Let's try to. Your new name is Nico and you're Italian. And he's like, what?
He goes through the whole movie where he doesn't use a gun at all, and then he finally shoots somebody in the leg.
I will say towards the end when he uses the Lambo or whatever GTA fucking car it's supposed to be with the sword to pop the bag. That's pretty badass. All right, 3.5 for me.
And then they duct taped it.
3.5 for me.
Because it fixes everything.
Yeah, because that's how it works, right? You're not a police officer or anything, but the cops are A-okay with letting you go take the hovercraft onto the local golf course to potentially brutally murder a mob boss.
Yeah,
it happens all the time. Giovanni, mine is 3.5. What's yours? What's your final take?
I do love this movie. Great Jackie Chan movie. Watch it for the martial arts. Respect, yes, it's a goofy movie, but respect that Jackie Chan does a lot of his own stunts. Keep in mind, he filmed the rest of this movie on a broken ankle in a cast.
He won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
With a cast that looked like a fucking gym shoe.
Yeah.
What it had to be, I guess, extra big because he was like, I'm still going to jump and land on it. I mean, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I'm Jackie fucking Chan.
In true Jackie Chan fashion, he still put 100% into it.
Do you think he took painkillers? Or is he like
I'd imagine,
like acupuncture type or
I think it's holistic. Probably a lot of holistic stuff. Yeah.
You gotta remember he was raised in Hong Kong though, so that was more Western like.
Or was he doing like a lot of cocaine or?
I doubt drugs, considering how China is.
I doubt so too. Yeah.
China's pretty serious about you smoke pot in China and you're fucked. I mean, opium is more readily available.
I gotta wonder, like, if there was any kind of like pain relief or something.
I would hope so. Fuck, give the guy something. Tylenol, shit. Give him a bunch of Tylenol.
I love the goofiness of the movie, but I will say it is unbalanced. But for the martial arts, higher score. For the goofiness, a little bit lower score. So this is a 3.5 as well for me. Meets right in the middle. Definitely rewatchable. Yeah. It's a Jackie Chan movie. At the minimum, it's one of the ones you have to watch for sure.
Skip through it and watch the fight scenes every now and then.
Yeah,
because that's easy to do.
The movie as a whole is fun to watch. Just watch from beginning to end. It's not that long.
When you see as many, I just skip right to the fight scenes at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, just watch it as a whole. It's fun to watch.
Seen it for sure. Yeah,
it's cheesy as fuck in certain areas,
and then weirdly brutal in others.
Yeah,
just deal with it. Especially the bottle scene, the baseball bat bottles.
Yeah, that's a really dark scene for the movie. Like, and then like I do give them credit how like the glass breaks and you see like the spurt of blood coming down his neck.
Yeah,
it's like that's pretty cool looking, but at the same tone, it's like family friendly. Jackie Chan's bleeding all over himself.
And that was his main thing about that whole scene was about he wanted to be family friendly, but he was worried that the people were going to run people out.
And he's got to get his stupid thumbs up at the camera at the end.
But definitely watch it, and it's fun.
Hey, I'm Jackie Chan at the end of my movies. That's every Jackie Chan movies. So that's how every one of them ends.
I was looking at his filmography. He did like when he was 6 years old, he did I Spy. And then, like later on in his life, he did Spy Next Door.
Oh wow!
It's kind of like a weird, like
Is it not the same movie?
No. But I'm just saying, like, it's just weird how the titles of the movies.
Now he's gonna do Spy Kids 7.
Oh, Spy Kids 95.
Yeah, I'm going to teach you why Hong Kong should resume the mainland rules.
Toretto invades. You're gonna cross over.
It's about family. He's like, "Who are you?" I'm Toretto, and he's like. Why do you talk like that? Were you stupid? What? You talk slow.
You're stupid.
Well, I'm a brilliant mechanic. Yeah, but you're stupid. Walks away from him. You're not worth my time. I would like to see
Don't
a movie where,
understand you.
Donnie Yen and Jackie Chan fight.
Ooh,
I don't think you'll ever see that, though.
no.
All right, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to be back with Kiss of the Dragon, starring Jet Li, a white woman, French actor, some blonde brother fighter guys. We'll be right back.
They're supposed to be twins, yeah.
Whatever. Fuck, the group. Oh, yeah, you almost got me to say it. Oh, no, we'll be right back.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Nerdattude movie podcast with our second movie, which is Kiss of the Dragon.
It's a porno.
With Jet Li.
Good old-fashioned pornography.
I'll leave it to Matt with some of the video facts for you on budget.
This one was kind of a meh, and this is probably one of the reasons why it doesn't get talked about, which is tragic in my opinion. But budget of $25 million. So for 01, with a yet unproven, I think Jet Li's first American movie was Lethal Weapon 4, and that was 98. So this is only 01. $25 million. It only made $64 million. I think that's worldwide. So it was pretty much a failure, which is a big part of why nobody talks about it. It does star some decent actors. I mean, you got Jet Li, you got Bridget Fonda. I can't pronounce his name, but it's Checky Caro.
I was looking at him too. I was like, how the fuck do you say that?
As Jean-Pierre Richard. Rick Young as Mr. Big.
He was the French man in fucking The Patriot.
Yeah. He's been actually in several pretty good movies.
Yeah, he has.
I like him. And then the rest are fucking nobody gives a shit about. But yeah.
If they phonetically spelled his name, I'd be able to pronounce it.
I think it's Checky Caro, but Cario? Whatever. Basically, this movie is... Now, we did Rumble in the Bronx, which is a very goofy tone. This amps it up more into the evolution of serious kung fu movies, because this movie is... For one thing, it's produced by Luc Besson. So already you understand the kind of... It's in France, the international... You know, you understand his influences behind it. However, with Jet Li, this movie is very much an international thriller, somewhat like a Bourne Identity, but more or less kung fu. Basic story is a Chinese, not soldier, but a Chinese agent. They don't really talk about what agency he works with.
Like a regular officer or a detective?
He's a diplomat of some kind they send over.
He's kind of like
liaison.
He's not Secret Service, but he's
something along those lines.
Yeah.
And he basically
he's one of their special agents.
Well, they're trying to get this leader,
which you think he's a villain at the beginning, though.
Yeah, the whole thing is he's working with the corrupt ass French police.
We don't know that. At
the beginning, they make it pretty clear from the moment you meet Jean-Pierre Richard, the time for diplomacy. They make it pretty clear that he's a piece of shit from the get-go. But the whole idea is that he's there to aid in capturing a corrupt diplomat from China who is supposed to be making a deal. And things go horribly weird, and one of the hookers who's brought in, which is such a weird scene, when he's like, I want to go to heaven, and it's just that weird top-down look on him.
Yeah.
And she murders the fucking guy, and basically the corrupt...
With a chopstick, right?
They look like chopsticks, but they were in her hair.
That's what she did. She put her
That's two deaths in this movie are responsible by chopsticks, by the way. That's two.
Exactly.
That's true.
We'll get to the second one.
The other one's in a strip place.
But then it's kind of cliche with Jet Li going on the run. They're blaming him for the murder and basically calling him a psycho, and he's got a tape that proves his innocence. Bridget Fonda is the second hooker in the room that couldn't go through with it, was in the bathroom throwing up when it all went down, and the stories eventually intermingle. That's about the story.
Yep.
At the beginning, Bridget Fonda's acting, I fucking hated it.
You know, that's really funny you say that, because the whole movie I hated it. I don't like her in this movie. I hate her.
She was the weak part of this movie, for sure.
I hated her at the beginning, but as it progressed, she did get a little more believable. But at the very beginning, as a junkie, she was fucking garbage. I feel.
Well, she was trying to get clean, and he's, what are you doing over there, Charlie? Making a fix. He's making a fix. You want some? Sounds good. It's like
Yeah.
he's such a good villain in this movie, though.
Uzi's amazing.
But I'm saying at the beginning for her, just the way she was acting, I didn't like it, and I wrote down like right away. I was like, I fucking don't like her.
She's garbage.
And then as it progressed, I was like, okay, it's a little believable. She's a mother trying to get clean, so it became a little more believable later.
Yeah,
But
see, I feel that the storyline becomes less believable when you bring in her child. Because literally, there is... God damn it, I'm just trying to get a bottle of water, and I can't do it right now. There is no... There's no explanation of how she ends up in France. She literally goes, I was a farm girl in... somewhere in the Midwest, I think. And,
South Dakota or some North Dakota, some shit like that.
where I'm from, you don't have a kid as a single mother. And then I met this Frenchman, and it's like all of a sudden you're in France and you're a hooker. There's a serious disconnect that they leave way too open.
She does say that he was very persuasive and he was very sweet. So he
Yeah, but you're going from living to Nebraska to a hooker in the slums of France. Like, that's a big gap that is basically untalked about. Besides,
you're taking a child with you.
Yeah, besides the one line of dialogue of her being like, well, you single mothers are kind of frowned upon. So single mothers are frowned upon in Nebraska because they're so close-minded. So the best thing you thought would be go to France and be a whore. That's how you escape that, huh? Okay. But I think the whole concept is he kind of groomed her and brought her over and said he would take care of her, and then next thing you know, she's on the street because he says,
who knows?
I have your daughter.
Maybe she met him on dial-up AOL on AIM.
Well, you see, you got to remember though, that part of France didn't have dial-up yet. It was only 2001. Damn it, Matrix just came out in '99.
I don't know much yet.
I love how in this movie all the villains are just the way they're so well connected.
The dude with the weird eye.
Dude, the pilot in the beginning, he's the second greatest villain. He just pulls fucking 2 Uzis out of his...
We're literally watching it, and Jen's like, what the fuck? And he's just literally shredding, and she's like, holy shit, that's a lot of gunfire.
Well, when he first shows up, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want that to be my pilot.
Right?
Yeah, let me get one in before I go. I gotta get one in.
Gotta get back to the plane, mate. He's the goofy Australian guy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, there were several scenes like that a little bit. I do love how the fight scenes get increasingly violent. Like, for me, in my opinion, one of the greatest fight scenes ever is them on the boat. That whole scene with the brunch fight scene, where it goes from in the kitchen to on top, that whole sequence is an amazing fight scene. The way it's filmed, how you're seeing the boat go because the buildings are passing by in the background, and he's fighting 3 fucking guys back and forth, and it's choreographed great. I noticed that watching it again after 75 times I've already watched it, that the impact of his punches grow. Almost like in the beginning, it's just like, I don't want to hurt people. And then by the end, it becomes like, I'm going to fucking maim and kill. Like, that's why I'm here.
He doesn't want to hurt people as his character.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hurt people.
My favorite aspect about his character is that the way they portray him, he's out of place. He's clearly in a different country.
An immigrant.
Everybody he cares about who's on his side. He's losing.
He's super aloof. He's aloof to everything in life. He
Like,
doesn't know about women.
French.
He doesn't know about women. He doesn't know about family. He doesn't know about
all he knows is his government and his loyalty to
his work. Yeah.
And that's why the Chinese embassy people that are in France, kind of trying to figure out what's going on, are skeptical the entire time because he's a decorated, loyal fucking servant. Why would he go ape shit for no reason?
But all that adds to Matt's point, where as the movie continues, he gets more brutal and more brutal, and it gets really good.
Go from the fight scene in the hotel, where it's mostly defensive, just trying to escape, he's hitting when he has to the end scene with the brothers, where every strike he throws is he's trying to kill. And that is another. And that's the thing about this movie, and it pisses me off. It's not talked about. This movie should be talked about in the realm of great martial arts movies. When you say, "Oh, John Wick's fight scenes are great, and The Raid is great, and this is great," you should say Jet Li's not only this movie, but the European title was Danny the Dog. American title was Unleashed. If you watch that movie, watch the unrated.
Yeah.
That is another incredible movie that's kind of slow. but the fight scenes are solid. They're amazing, and that's what. And then
So-
there's scenes. Hold on, there's scenes in this movie that you won't see in a Jackie Chan movie, like him honoring the guy's wishes and praying for him.
Yep.
You won't see that. That's too serious for a Jackie Chan movie,
Right.
And that's what separates these two entire styles of movie.
Mhm.
One of the
On
things.
a quick pause, what was the first movie you saw Jet Li in?
Black Mask.
Giovanni or
Ooh.
Black Mask? Okay.
Yeah, Black Mask.
So
Yeah.
the first one I saw him in was Tai Chi Warriors or Twin Warriors.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
had told you guys that I went to, I think it was called Piper's Alley, and I couldn't remember the name of the theater. Now I do. Piper's Alley was over. It was over by Brookfield Zoo, and it's no longer there. And we went there for midnight showings.
Nice.
We would fucking bring in our fucking bottles, 22-ounce bottles of Corona, with our pre-cut up limes, and we would sit there and drink, and we would watch the fucking movie.
Cut up lines.
Yeah.
I will say, if you've never seen it, one of his best movies was one of his Asian releases called Meltdown. Basically,
no, yeah, no, no,
basically, he is doing kind of like he's like a bodyguard that the club he's in and the celebrity he's trying to protect is it gets invaded, and the celebrity that he's trying to protect is very much a rip on Jackie Chan, like a lot. Like
Really?
Yeah, like the character walks around in a Bruce Lee yellow yellow jumpsuit type thing, and that's because Jackie Chan had at some points, like the guy looks like Jackie Chan. He has like Jackie Chan's haircut. They cast someone who even looks like him. Like that movie takes a lot of digs at guys like Jackie Chan and that goofy comedy, because the character that he's supposed to be protecting is goofy and he's not a real fighter. And yeah, if you ever, I think it's on Prime, watch Meltdown and you'll see how it's like, oh shit, this movie is attacking Jackie Chan. Like this movie must have been kind of a bitch fight in China when it came out, because that you're talking early 90s versus Jackie Chan, who was arguably at his height in the early 90s.
Yep.
But yeah, this movie is a completely different tone. I classify this as an international thriller with amazing fight scenes.
Yeah.
It's much more of a thriller than it is like hey, it's a kung fu movie. Even my wife was like, I wouldn't call that a kung fu movie. I would just call that a good thriller with awesome scenes. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's no different than how Bourne Identity did it, except it was first, or if not first, it wasn't first, but it's like Bourne Identity without the shaky cam. You don't have to throw up watching this one.
Case in point, one of the best fight scenes I think in this movie was where he's in the police station. He goes through a door to get away from them, and he turns around.
Yes.
And there's 30 guys there.
30 black belts. And he decimates all of them. And there's that particular scene where he's got his club and he's doing three of them at the same time, and it's just you hear that ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and it's all unison, and that's you literally can hear the skill these guys by hitting each other where they're hitting each other. That whole scene is awesome. But yeah, I do really, it's the only scene that does it as well, if not a little bit better, is Donnie Yen in the first IP Man, the prison scene, where he where he wrecks like 20 of them himself. So, but yeah, no, that's probably my favorite scene. Like when we were watching it and Jen goes, "Oh shit," when he turns around, and I was like, "Yeah, those are black belts too." And she's like, "And he's gonna fuck them all up," and then he proceeds to fuck them all up. Which
you think I'm your bitch? You are all my bitch.
That's the wrong movie, Alex.
That's the wrong movie.
Yes, that's the one with Papa Roach in the soundtrack.
That's the one.
True.
Blood Brothers. I like how in the one, when they're going through the different versions of him, one of them's like a Rastafarian. Like you guys remember that? One of them's like a Jamaican version of him.
Yeah. Which made me fucking laugh when I saw him getting a cab ride. And he's like, "You like my music?" He's like, "Yeah, I do."
Well, see, that is one of Jet Li's decent movies, but it's one of Jason Statham's worst.
Yeah.
Because he's
that's true.
He's terrible in that movie.
Oh, the one?
He doesn't do any martial arts. That's why he
does
like
it.
Cockney, whatever. He's terrible in that fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
His partner is that actor that at that point in his career was way on the way out. The black dude. I can't remember what else he was in, but you'd recognize him. But he was like an '80s guy, and like the fact that they got him in there was like, all right, there's a little bit of budget here. They were just like, oh, he was popular when in our decade that we're in now, because once again, 20 years behind.
One issue I did have about the movie though is, when he was getting beat up and he was on the mend or whatever, and he was making his way, he looked like he was losing a lot of blood, so his face was kind of pale. But like all of a sudden, in like 6 hours, he was back to fucking normal. I didn't like the makeup choice that they did. That was one thing that kind of bothered me about him.
I mean,
It
he was sort of indestructible throughout the whole fucking thing, really.
It kind of was, yeah.
Yeah, but at one point, I don't know if you guys noticed though, his skin color was like very pale. It was like you could actually see like clammy in it, and then all of a sudden he was refreshed and never slept, but he was refreshed.
Well, maybe that's the whole thing. Is there? Well, I don't know. It could just be shitty filmmaking too.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I think
And
The
that was
lighting
like-
and makeup issues.
one of the
that was like it's a minor fucking thing, but that's one thing I noticed.
I mean, and the thing about it is, though, is it did have a $25 million budget, which is fairly large.
Mhm.
So those
Yeah.
are kind of things that really shouldn't happen, though. Like,
Yeah.
it's a
True.
fairly big movie.
Especially since I felt that the story was pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
And
that's why I say it's really not a kung fu movie. It's a good movie with like cool kung
Mhm.
fu in it.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say? I had so his little needles, his little acupuncture.
Yeah,
I do love how like he uses them throughout the movie, but you get that like the whole movie you're like this villain really needs to get a broomstick up the ass. Like he is a piece of shit, dude. Total. Like, I do like the interaction with him and the daughter where he's like, "I had a turtle, but your mother took that from me," as he's angrily stamping shit.
Yeah.
And I do got to give the character enough credit to not just wild lash out at the daughter. Like he's trying his best to hold in his anger more than he has the entire movie. Like, there's literally one point he gets so angry he headbutts one of his guys and shrieks the word shit. Remember where he's like, "Ah!" He does that high, like the character's unhinged. But with the daughter, "I had the turtle once. Your
but
mother
I
took
think
that from me."
I think he legitimately did not want to hurt a child though. Like, he wasn't that much of a villain.
I
He was a piece of shit. He was a piece
He
of
literally
shit.
had a
though.
gun to the back of her head when he walks in, though.
But I don't know. I don't think he would have done it.
I do.
don't know.
I think he's
I
a
just-
total piece
just-
of shit.
Just because of how that interaction with her, that.
But he literally tells Jet Li on the phone, she's too young to work, or is
That's
she?
what I'm saying. Yeah,
Like, he's a
he
total
was.
piece of
that
shit,
could also
bro.
be could also be boastful. That could also be him trying to.
I don't know. He's literally a stone cold murderer throughout the entire
Yeah.
movie. I think
Well, yeah,
he had
he
no
is.
problem offing a kid.
He even
Dude.
shoots his own fucking boy when he says that he lost him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And
no,
to
he's
his
like,
credit-
he's like, go after,
he didn't
go
want.
after,
He didn't want to jump on the hole. Yeah,
go after
He didn't wanna
him.
jump on
And,
the
and
hole.
he's anyone else want to think about it? But what a
He didn't
piece
want to
of
jump on the
shit.
laundry chute.
I don't think he would care about killing a child.
Well,
I
don't know.
loved him
He
as a
throws-
villain, though.
He threw the mixed feelings to me. Like
I-
he was a legitimate piece of shit, but he might have had some kind of scruples. I don't know.
No, he deserved
I
what he
think-
gets. Fuck him.
I think he was faking because you can see it in when he would meet when he would go off with his goons and do his illegal shit. He was crazy.
No, yeah, but
Clearly,
he
Yeah.
literally uses the little girl as a hostage
yes.
after threatening
then-
to put her out on the street at age 10 or whatever she was, not or six or 7. I think she was younger.
He
Yeah, I
would
think
come
it was
back
like 7.
and talk to the constables and the diplomats, and he was totally level-headed.
And the
Yeah.
And
only,
even then,
only
he was
emotion
kind of
to
a
degree, though.
douche.
Only to a degree, yeah.
The only emotion he showed was when he goes. But by the way, the second chopstick death is one of my favorite scenes where literally, what's her face, Bridget Fonda sews Jet Li's arm up a la Rambo, and her whole thing is she used to sew up pigs on the farm. Like, who gives a fuck? Anyways, like, get out of here. The whole character, and her pimp comes in and starts slapping her around, and I still love his line where he's like, "I would appreciate it if you would not do," and it goes from like kind of soft and nice to
Oh.
"not do that again." Like he goes darker and kind of like, "I'm serious," like in his voice, and which
Yeah.
proceeds to be a sad scene because the old guy who's been basically his
Yeah.
fixer the whole time gets killed. Machine, he has that really badass fight scene with that swole ass black dude, to where he
Before
punches
his
the wall
uncle-
and he just pulls the splinter out like, ew.
Before his uncle gets killed, that scene that you're talking about when he tells him don't do that again.
Yeah.
They were supposed to call cut, and the director forgot to call cut, so Jet Li fucking just went straight at it, and the face that the fucking guy makes, what's his Lupe or whatever,
Whatever,
something with an L. what that face that he makes is a fucking legitimate, like, holy shit. Like it was one of those things where it wasn't expected to happen. So the scene just kept going from there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so that fear that you see in his face was like, holy fuck, what happened? And then he had to fucking hurry up and like act.
So
So that was kind of cool with something that I read about.
I'm looking up something, and I have to look it up. I don't remember what the track name was. I think it was Mystical Fever.
Yeah, Fever.
So we're watching this movie, and my wife Jen, she goes,
I love Mystical, by the way.
she goes, "Are you listening to these fucking lyrics?"
Yes.
And I go,
yes.
"Some of them. What have you been catching?" She's like, "Pause the movie. I want to read this. I want you to read it out loud."
Mystical,
So she screen shares it. Here's some of the. Now I'm not going to say the N word, obviously, but I don't know how to bleep it out either. Like it's just, it's the blank that get hard then starch in your fucking creases. Rip it to pieces, slicing and dicing and icing them, right? And I guarantee you, somebody was like, "This is a fight scene. It's glass breaking." They read the first 3 lines and they're like, "Slicing, dicing. This is our song. Got a funky beat." It's actually a pretty good song. Then with the mic I use, it's a clean as a wild teacher. Eyes stay tight when they fade to watch swarm bleeding. I'm gonna scroll down because there's a lot of lyrics. Here's some of them. Bitch, little bitches catching mystical fever. Ow, ow. These blank know when it's mystical season. Bitch, little bitches catching big little bitches catching mystical fever. That's a hook. Here we go for some more. These are, I'm assuming, non-chorus. These are just actual lines. Let's see.
Mystical was
keep my motherfucking fist balled up. Case a motherfucker trying to start something. Take ginseng, got your little dick hard, making it harder. Think you gonna jump me in the ring, go pound for pound with Knockout King? No shit like that gonna happen because them. There's no rhyme scheme, by the way.
No. But the way he sings it just came through.
It's just literally these are lines of hustlers to ballers, gangsters and cap peelers, hustlers to ballers, hustlers to gangsters, gangsters cap peelers, hustlers to ballers, gangsters cap. These are literal lyrics, and we stopped the movie after the fight scene to read the lyrics.
He had two songs.
Yeah, he had "Shake Your Ass" as well in there.
Yeah, shake your thing.
But this is literally in a mainstream movie and it's during a fight scene. It's not during like a club scene or whatever. Yep. It's literally he's murdering 2 fucking albino twins to this song. Mm-hmm. And I just happen to think it was really funny that I don't think the person who chose that song read more than the first 3 lines. They're like, slicing, dicing, icing, that's Jet Li, let's do it.
Well, Mystical was one of the top guys when this movie came out.
Well, Jet Li also followed that trend, though, too, because he ended up going with Cradle to the Grave that had a lot of hip-hop guys on it.
And Pharrell was the other guy that did the song, but he was also with NERD. Which
Nerd has one of there's only one song of theirs I like, but it's Rockstar, but it's an awesome song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I think there's a heavier version. Like there's a remix that was softer and then a heavier one. The heavier one's actually a pretty decent song.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a rock star. I can't. I'll just butcher it.
I'm bigger than what you are. Some shit like that. Yeah.
Although if you need some Limp Bizkit lyrics be spitting, I'm here for that. Lewis didn't get that shit at all.
No.
Giovanni, did you read that text exchange? I'm over here I'm just putting lyrics of Limp Bizkit's break stuff as questions to him.
When I responded to you, your text never showed up. So when I responded with my text, your text showed up after mine.
Oh really?
So that's why I kind of was like, that's why I was like, what the fuck, dude? He did say it.
See,
I didn't.
I did it. I was, but I did the my man gift because I was like, somebody fucking got it. Like somebody's a misunderstanding. Like Lewis is just. I understand he's busy, but he's just like, bro, I don't have time. Like I literally want to smash people's faces. Like
he's wearing a backpack chasing his kid.
He's over there like he's got his he's holding his son up by the fucking suit collar and he's like punching the bridesmaids. Get the fuck out of here, you drunk assholes. Sorry, Lewis. We'll see you next week for Halloween week 1 in September. All right,
we can start it whenever we want. People are decorating right now.
Yeah, if you go into any grocery store, it's Halloween candy already. everywhere. Wait, we just got over fucking Labor Day. Like, are you for real?
Speaking of that twin scene that you said, what with with the song Fever playing.
Mystical Fever, get it right.
What I said with the song Fever, I didn't say mystical. Whatever.
Well, Mystical Fever is the title, though.
I like no. Mystical sings the song.
No,
Fever.
the song is called Mystical Fever.
Is it? I thought it was just called Fever.
Because he recites Mystical Fever in the song like 10 times.
Okay. Well, that's weird. That's weird because
he may have just
it
might just be Fever, but
he's
no,
third person himself.
It's called.
I thought it was Fever.
Yeah, it's called Mystical Fever.
Okay, because I looked at the soundtrack earlier and it said Fever only. Okay, that's cool.
I'm on his actual thing.
Mystical Fever.
I don't play that shit. You're mystical.
No, he was Mystical.
No, he's mystical.
Yeah, okay, Mystical.
Fuck him.
Anyway.
He's not relevant anymore. He's lucky we're even talking
he's not
about
even
him.
around. He's not even around
Fuck
anymore.
this guy. Was he dead?
Fuck. No,
I would
he's
feel bad
not
if
around.
he's dead.
He's not playing. He's not.
What album was that even on?
Mystical. Oh, God.
Let's Get Ready is what it has to be.
Yeah.
So
there was a lot of
so
colors
under his
stuff,
Spotify, it is labeled as Mystical Fever for your snooty tooty friends. We've talked a lot about Mystical on this episode, and I don't know why. It was my fault.
Oh, you started it.
Yeah, I agree. It was my fault. I did it.
Yeah, Matt's like, listen to these lyrics. We're gonna go to church
And
today.
then, like, the problem is if I say one of the N words, canceled till fucking canceled. Like,
Oh yeah,
you believe
this whole thing.
How dare he look like him and say that word? Basically, is what it equates to.
But back to those twins though that he fought, the one that he pile drove. I was reading that they actually had to slow down some of the footage because that dude is so fucking fast, and him and Jet Li's interactions were so fast that the camera had to slow. They had to slow down the replay of it just to put it in the movie. So can you imagine how fast those guys are fucking going back and forth?
You would have to imagine those guys are also making some contact, like real contact.
Oh yeah.
He's actually, if you've never seen it, a French martial art parkour movie called District B13.
District B13. Yeah.
Great movie. So many weird fucking gems are coming out of this one. Yeah, go watch it. It's not your ATIP. It should be talked about more. It's not. You can get
should be.
You can get it cheap, usually digital. The Blu-rays, I don't know if they even make them. I got a Blu-ray of it, but that's back when, like, literally at one point you'd be like, "Is this movie made on Blu-ray?" And then you'd be in Walmart and it's like, "Holy shit, this movie's on Blu-ray." And
somebody heard you in the back room when they were pressing it.
Yeah, right. Like, the fuck? There's literally just, I remember the one time I went to go buy a game from a Redbox, and it was one of the Tony Hawk's games. Because it was like $8 at a Redbox, but it still was like $30 everywhere else. And I literally opened the case, and they had photocopied the disc and put it in the case, so the barcode on the disc still registered. I remember calling Redbox support so angry. And then I just sat there after the call going, you know what? You're on the south side of Chicago, and you thought that would be a wise move to buy a disc from a Redbox. It's your fucking fault, you idiot. And then that never happened again. I was like, you know what, man? Fuck this shit.
You know what? Those things are loaded, though. They're loaded by people. They should fucking see that.
Yeah.
By the way, I was also guilty of switching fucking barcodes off of games that were fucking scratched from Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And then I gave them but they were legit games. But I gave them the scratch games, and I kept the fucking good game.
Let's be honest. You could have... you literally could have stolen one of the TVs out of the TVs in the walking path, and still have been like at a fraction of what our store manager was stealing. Anyways, 4 out of 5. No. So just to wrap it up, go watch Kiss of the Dragon. It's a much more serious tone martial arts movie, and I know we're going to review The Raid, which is even more. That's what
I enjoyed about this one, though. Is it was more serious.
It's not like it's a movie you could watch with your wife or girlfriend under the grounds of like. It's not constant goofy Jackie Chan shit. It's not constant it's not like The Raid where the guy literally inhales a deep breath and he's fighting another guy. Like there's good pacing. The story's good enough. It's engaging.
I argue that I could watch Jackie Chan movies with my wife, but she would still come up with questions like, "Well, why did this happen?"
Well, that's because Jackie Chan movies don't make a whole lot of sense sometimes.
There would be questions.
Yeah.
But with this one, there would still be questions because that's what my wife does. But we would be able to watch this movie and she would understand it.
I mean,
as a
I'm okay
whole.
with questions. What gets me is
As a
when they're
whole.
staring at the fucking phone and it's like,
Oh,
bro,
it drives me insane.
Oh God.
like we're
Or
trying to
when-
watch
That's when
this.
I.
What are you
That's when I
doing?
pause it and I fucking.
Or
go
when
watch
I
the
sacrifice
rest
what
of it
I
in the
want to
movie.
watch, and I'll be like, okay, we'll watch what she wants to watch. And I'm 10 minutes in, and I look over, and she's on her fucking phone.
Oh, believe me, when we watch
Oh my
Cruella,
God.
when we
Fuck,
watch
dude.
Cruella, I'm every 5 seconds like, you're on the phone, are you? Because I will fucking lose. There's been times when I've paused the movie, and she's been like, no, play it. I'm like, you can finish your text. I just put her on the spot. It's like, finish your text, then we'll continue. And it's like, well, I was just looking at Facebook. It's like, I know. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah, Steph will be pissed because I'll look over and be like, hey, you texting your sister what part we are on in the movie so she can keep up with us? She's like, she just puts it down. She
The
gets
only
all
the only
pissed.
problem with Jen is because she runs the daycare. She runs the entire building now. So like there are times because they don't close till 6, and she'll get off at whatever, and it'll be like 5 something, and we'll
Okay.
watch something. And her girls that are working for her will
Understandable.
text her, and so I can't be a dick with that. But I can absolutely be a dick with your cruising Facebook or Instagram or Etsy
After 6 p.m.
or you're
Fuck you.
or you're
fair
on
game.
you're on Amazon looking for new home fixtures we're gonna buy. Like that's where I'm like, bro. Because the problem is, it'd be different if my wife didn't take a half hour in the bathroom every time, and it's purely because she's doing this. Like, I guarantee you, if my wife didn't take her phone into the bathroom, she'd be out in 10 fucking minutes. But because this comes, like, literally the one day she took the Switch in there, and it was like 45, and I'm like,
Oh my God.
dude, like, what
You
the
gotta
fuck?
clip this.
You gotta.
Like, what are we
you gotta
doing?
grab. You gotta put a little pocket or like a little rack next to the door saying electronics deposit.
We'll clip this and she'll use it in the divorce settlement. Yeah,
You
he's
gotta
talking
clip
shit
this and
about me
just
on his podcast.
call the video "My Wife."
But like, and she admits it too. Like, and like, here's the thing: is like, it's not fair to be mad about the work shit at all. Like, it has to be an
That's
understanding.
understandable. Yeah,
But
Yeah.
that's
the
understandable.
other stuff where it's like I'm just looking on Amazon or I'm just looking on Facebook, it's like you don't need to be doing that. You do that when you're in the bathroom. You do that when you're on your phone, and because we do what we call separate gaming. Where we're in the same room. She plays Animal Crossing. I play Call of Duty or some shit with the guys.
Oh God.
And yeah,
That's why I have an office.
Alec, yeah. Well, it's not bad because I do like hanging out with her, but there's just some times when it's like we need to do our separate shit and kind of maybe self-isolate. But I don't want to. I don't want. She could go into the other room. I could. I don't want to. So we have a big bedroom. She's on the big
can hear
TV.
it.
I'm by my desk and everything. There is crossover noise, but I'd much rather be in the same room with her than not. So that's how we handle, like, I love you and I really want to hang out with you, but I also kind of want to be away from you. We go separate sides of the room. I'm behind my fortress over here, and she usually will have a Treasure Island on Twitch up that she's trying to get into lately. And she'll be
My
playing
wife
Pop
my
Pop
wife
Crap.
handles that. My wife handles that situation by, I'm sitting there watching something in the living room, and she's on her Facebook watching jewelry shows, and she goes, "I'll buy that for $5. I'll buy that for $5.
I'll buy
And then
that
if I
for
could-
$1.
And then if I c- and then and what before I bought her headphones, I would hear, "Oh, Emmy, I got you, and I'm like, "What'd you buy?" Like, and she goes, "You heard that?" And she turns down the volume really low.
Her sister got mad at
Like, no, I heard you.
Her sister got mad at me because, like, we had just gotten these new Bluetooth earbuds that she was using. They were mine, and then she kind of took them over, so she was using them. And she was on a call with her sister, and it was really loud, and I think we were recording or something. And I was like, "You have Bluetooth headphones, like, wear them." And her sister heard it and got mad at me. Well, I'm going to go then. And it's like...
That's not what you said. You just said you have Bluetooth headphones.
It's like,
you
wear
don't have
them.
to go. You
It's
don't
like
have
I'm
to
just
go.
saying we have them.
Just shut
It's
up.
not like you're. It's not like you're doing it for a game. It's like you're literally doing it to just listen to your sister because you're on a phone call. That's kind of what they're designed for. Like, and yeah, instead it was turned around as I was being an ass. And like at this point,
Well,
whatever. I'm gonna be
it
full
took- it
ass
took
mode
me-
then now, ain't I? Like if I'm gonna go if I'm gonna go deep water, I'm gonna go deep. Fuck it.
Yeah. It took me 2 months to get my wife used to using earbuds because I bought them for her birthday. They showed up about a month after her birthday because I ordered them 2 months before her birthday.
I remember, yeah.
So yeah, it took 3 months to fucking show up. But it took her 2 months to finally use them, and now to this day she's using them, but she loses them. So she was like, "Where's my earbuds?" I'm like, "Well, you should know where they are."
Are they the ones
put
that
'em
come
in
in
the
with
same-
the charging case and everything?
It's a back. I have the back charging case from one, but it's the ones with the cable into the back, and you have to actually plug them in.
Yeah, we got these ones that were like they're off Chinese brand. They're like Toto something, but they were $35. I think they got them even cheaper than that, maybe. And they had like
God,
four
we're
and a
back
ha-
on headphones
four and a
again.
half stars out of fucking 15,000 reviews. So I bought. They're decent for $35. They're perfect for a fucking phone call. If I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
You know, like me, it's hard because like I can't do Bluetooth headphones unless they're like I'm gonna get a new wireless set. Can't do my music or video editing because of the lag with standard Bluetooth headphones. I'm
Yeah.
hoping the latency on the other, or I can plug them in, whatever, you know, because I do have an aux jack on the back of my motherboard. But that's the plan there. Anyways, let's give our well, we did final
Yeah,
kind of
I
final.
know.
Let's do final
We
thoughts
jumped.
and then we'll do Kung Fu Dogs. Which, by the way, a
We-
Kung Fu Dog, in my opinion, would have to be like some sautéed cabbage and onion on top with
Well-
maybe some sriracha or maybe a sweet Thai chili sauce, some shit like that. On a
Would
hot
there be
dog.
egg noodle and stuff and eggs?
You know
involved?
what, man? Your dreams are the limit. Fuck it. This is our creation. We're gonna have the first ever podcast branded hot dog, Nerdattude Kung Fu Dog.
I would like a soft boiled egg, attached to it.
I'm gonna say
It'll
put
be
a fried
sliced
egg
up.
on it.
Fried, I do.
No,
Soft
no.
boiled, I wouldn't. Not on a hot. That's
Oh,
messy
I
as
love
fuck,
soft
bro.
boiled, dude. I love
But
soft
that
boiled.
you're talking like dripping with fucking messiness.
No, well, only 7-minute egg. A 7-minute egg. Try it out. 7-minute egg. You put about that much water. You just boil it in there for 7 minutes. You roll it around after 3 minutes, and then you dump it in cold water for 10 minutes.
Is it still a
And
soft
you got-
boiled egg?
Yeah, soft
Still
boiled
gonna
egg.
be messy as fuck.
Well, yeah,
The
your
runny
outer
yolk is
shell's
gonna
gonna be a
go
little
everywhere.
softer. Your
All right.
outer side's gonna. Oh,
So now we're
that's
talking
what I
about
wanted.
food
I
stuff.
want yolk.
Do you
I want yolk to be-
What sort of bun do you use though? Do you use like a breakfast
Oh,
biscuit bun? Do you
Well,
use like
if we're doing hot dogs, yeah, you
yeah,
gotta-
like that's the thing. You
You
got
gotta
that
use a Kaiser roll,
toast?
maybe.
whatever it's got to be. 'cause
Zero.
No, no
whatever,
toast.
whatever. No, you got to
have to
toast
use
it
some
because it's
kind
got
of
the
roll.
yolk. You got to
You have
soak
to
up
use
the
some
yolk.
kind of roll. You have to
Yeah.
use some kind of roll.
You don't want to go ciabatta. I don't
And
know.
if you are going to toast it, it would have to be oven toasted.
I mean, what you would probably want to
Man, there's
go.
a lot of use
You,
this.
you know where you'd want to go? You'd want to go the Filipino bread selections. They have that elongated kind of delicious bread that you would. wanna
But
use.
all their bread's very sweet. I
Then
don't want
fuck it.
sweet.
Use the same bread from a Cubano. I don't give a fuck. It's all
Yeah,
delicious.
there you go.
Cubano.
I like it. I like it.
Boom.
I like it. Cubano.
We're gonna make that sandwich, and I'm literally gonna make it and film the video for it. Figure that. Now
Do it.
I'm not doing a soft boiled. I'll do an over easy at most.
Oh, you can do whatever you want, man. It's your-
we
it's
should
your-
all
it's
make
your-
our
Fried-
own and film them and do a
Fried
video
egg.
for it.
All right.
Fried egg.
All right, let's give our hot kung fu dogs on this one, which will be a real product apparently at
dogs.
some point. You want to do beef because you can go pork because it is Asian.
It's got to be
inspired.
beef.
Why though?
No,
That
it's gotta
doesn't
be
make any
beef.
sense for Asian inspired food though.
Nah.
I'll do both because why? Fuck you. That's why. All right. Mine is easy. I'm giving this a clear 4 out of 5. I like this movie a lot. It's a classic. I told my wife at the very beginning, I said, don't be on your phone. This isn't a goofy Jackie Chan movie. This is one of my favorite movies. It's a serious movie with some awesome action
Be on your
scenes.
best behavior.
I slapped her a little bit. She understood what we were talking about. And she enjoyed it, actually. She walked out and she was like, it's not a kung fu movie to me. It's just a really cool
Prodigy
action
music
film.
start when you did it.
No. I don't
okay.
support
That's good.
heroin overdose patients. When you get in your 40s, like that guy, you got fucking Omar from The Wire. Why are you in your 40s doing heroin? Philip Seymour Hoffman. Why are you at that age doing heroin? Like you got all the money in the world. You got more money than 99% of the people in this country. Fucking figure it out, bro. Like Heath Ledger's another one. You're rich beyond your wildest dreams, dude. You're whoa, you almost knocked everything over there, huh?
Almost, yeah.
Oh,
Almost lost logic.
Shit.
I thought he just lost his shit when you said Heath Ledger for a second.
No,
No, I saw him
Yeah,
bounce.
I saw the.
That was
almost
pure. That was
lost.
pure. That was
I
a
saw the camera move.
Everything.
that was a 3-second panic attack.
yeah.
Holy
shit.
It's almost
He's
like you
like,
almost shit your
"Oh,
pants. It's the same face as almost shitting your pants.
Did you reach
really.
for it?
Like, I think
Yeah.
I pooped. The same thing. All right, 4 out of 5 for me. Alex, final thoughts and Kung Fu Dog.
Kiss of the Dragon is going to be at 4 out of 5 for me as well. I really did fucking enjoy this movie, and I believe I saw it maybe twice in my lifetime, and this is my third time
Nice.
rewatching it, and it's still fucking it still kept me into the movie.
Well, what month did it come out? Because it's got to be getting close to its 20-year anniversary.
I don't know.
August 1st in France and July 6th in the United States. So its 20th year anniversary was this summer.
Oh, wow. Oh, shit.
There should have been a
But
Blu-ray release.
I know.
Something. Clean up the transfer, maybe a 4K.
But one of my biggest things was at the beginning was Bridget Fonda's acting ability as a junkie. I've seen her in other stuff, and she's not a great actress, but she's not a horrible actress either.
She's
But
arguably
just
the weakest part of this movie.
but just at the beginning, I did not like her, but as it progressed, it kind of made sense, and it kind of made Jet Li's character understandable about how he's now.
But imagine this movie without her, except for the scene where she sews him up. It'd have been a better movie.
That's true.
Okay, but who would have sewn him up? Would have been Uncle?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, she's needed in there. But if you would have brought her in as just like the hooker who sews him up after peeing, and then it engages him in that fight and re-engages him with the people that are chasing him, I would have liked it better.
But it gives him an in of how to find Richard again after losing the cartridge.
I know she's essential. All I'm saying is, like,
yeah.
If you
So
figure out the storyline without her,
to,
it would have been better.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think long run of like how would they have fixed that. So she wasn't horrible though. Like after to me,
yeah, but
it was just at the beginning where I didn't like her crackhead.
See, I feel
she wasn't.
I feel the whole daughter storyline slows.
Is that
down.
bad?
No, she sucks. But the daughter storyline slows the movie down.
But I don't remember that out of the past 3 times I watched it.
And they know
this was the first time I saw it.
They know it slows the movie down to a crawl. That entire sequence before it, because literally when they go get to the daughter, it's a small fight scene to break it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it shows that he actually is a human, where he does something for a reason.
I know, it's just
right. I mean,
I don't feel it's a stronger movie with her.
It can't be all 100% fucking action, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but her scene, her scenes, leave all of the detective, all of those scenes are amazing with the bad guy, but her scenes add nothing to the movie though. Like, literally she's used as a story element device. If you didn't have that one scene where he uses her as the credibility, which he doesn't even need her after she gets the tapes for him, you don't need her. Like, that's literally the only real reason for him to need her in the entire movie.
But it also makes him it's also a part of the story to make him a human, more human.
I don't necessarily think you need him more human.
He is kind of robotic when he gets there. You know what I mean?
He's a soldier. I mean, he
is a soldier. So having her in there, it does make him more of a human because he did. Well, and I'm just thinking maybe he did end up with her at the end.
Oh, I hope not.
Well, you don't know.
I don't want. Jet Li deserves better than a fucking French.
Than an old hooker.
You could have cut her out after she got the tapes for him, and made his motivation to go after the main bad guy that you kill his friend, the one who tried to help him.
Let's put it this way: you cut everything.
But they don't even show how much of a friend they were.
You cut everything out. You show her in the beginning as the other hooker. You cut everything from her out except for when she goes to sew him up. And you leave her in from there until she gets the tapes, which is pretty much when she ends, because she goes to the hospital if she gets or after she gets the tape because she gets shot. So you keep it from when she goes to sew him up to that point when he puts the needle in her neck and puts her to sleep.
Yep.
And it's a much more concise movie. All of her scenes before that are filler emotional garbage, and she's not even that great of an actor, so it's kind of a slog to watch those scenes. And for me, I was kind of like, man, like those when I rewatch this movie are the scenes I skip through. Plain and simple. There was one scene I went up to take a piss, and I was like, keep it playing. And she's like, what? And I was like, this is a scene I would skip through anyways, but you've never seen it.
Did you hate Femme Fatale?
No, but that's a different movie.
Okay.
That's an entirely different movie.
Because she's kind of similar acting in that too.
Yeah.
But she does a little better.
I mean, but Femme Fatale is about story-wise the problem. Like this movie is about Jackie Chan being basically on the run for something he didn't do. Or Jet Li, wow. On the run for something he didn't do. And in my opinion, until she's useful in the movie, it's bogged down by her scenes.
I think the only reason why they kept her in there is because they wanted to make him seem like he was actually human because he was a robot.
They also need some form of romantic interest, even though it's he's looking at her like, you're garbage. Why would I?
And he does have that feeling when he first sees her.
Yeah, kind of like.
So it's
also based on his uncle's bias as well.
Yeah, it's also not unmentioned.
Well, not uncle, but that guy.
Yeah, they call him Uncle.
Hello, Johnny. My name is not Johnny. So 1 second, I just want to the kiss of the dragon. I'm not even gonna tell you what happens, but basically, his needles, his acupuncture needles, come into play, and it's quite a gruesome fucking death at the end.
Yeah,
Giovanni,
it's actually really awesome.
Let's do your kung fu hot dogs.
I do like this movie a lot. This is a 4 Kung Fu hot dogs out of 5 for me as well.
Unanimous.
Jet Li does better at the serious roles. I've seen him in some comical roles. He's not as good. Not as good. Definitely better on the serious
Jackie
roles.
Chan, that was his like fantasy comedy kung fu. I can't remember what it was called. It was a garbage movie.
Yeah, it was.
It had like a white.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. It was like a fantasy kingdom something.
Yeah, something kingdom.
Yeah, something kingdom.
Maybe the yeah, whatever, garbage.
But this one, he's really well done. I do agree. It's more of a thriller with kung fu components, but it's really cool to see the progression of kung fu.
It's kind of like Asian centered or Asian main character Born Identity in a way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're 4
without the shaky cam.
Yeah, thank God. We're all unanimous. 12 kung fu dogs. All right.
Oh, we want to talk about shaky cam. We're coming up on that one.
The Raid's not that much of a shaky cam.
It's not that bad.
Have you seen Born Identity in a long time?
Yes.
Way worse in every way.
Yes, I agree.
There are scenes, but I wouldn't classify it as
there is shaky cam.
See, I wouldn't classify it as a shaky cam.
There are scenes in Born Identity where they can be sitting in an office talking and the fucking camera's shaking.
Like literally Michael J. Fox is filming it. Like it's just.
Oh, come on now.
It's easy. Let me have it.
All right, one thing I did not like about Kiss of the Dragon though was the fucking zooming of her face from here to here just to see her eyes.
Yeah.
When she talked to him, and then they showed Jet Li's eyes just to see other eyes.
I don't mean to be rude, but you
it's
smell.
Sincere. It's sincere.
He's like, they should have given you a sponge bath.
I fucking hate fucking zoom ins. Let's see if they're sincere.
On that terrible disappointment, we'll be right back.
And we're back with our final movie, guys. It's going to be The Raid Redemption. Matt suggested this. What was it? Last week when we were trying to figure out what to do.
I suggest this movie. We're literally at Thanksgiving.
Matt suggests this movie every fucking
name me a
time.
Christmas movie you love. I go for fucking Raid Redemption.
And it was a great suggestion. This is a phenomenal movie.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you like Ace Ventura? Do you check out the Raid Redemption?
Watch the Raid. Raid Redemption.
If I could, I would give people USBs with the movie on it. Merry Christmas, and just whip a handful at children. Plug it into your laptop.
Stocking stuffer.
You'll love it. Orphanages.
This is a really, really good martial arts movie.
Yeah, it really fucking is, bro.
Phenomenal.
Here's the thing. So, I didn't know this until just now. Both movies, so the martial art they practice is an Indonesian martial art called, and I'm probably butchering it, Pencak Silat is how but it's probably Saleh with a silent T. Now, the fight choreography for both films, and this is why I said the long-haired dude is so integral. Fight choreography led by Uaz, which is the main character in the Raid and Raid 2. He's the cop. He's the main character of the cop. And Yayan...
The old guy? Or
no, the young kid who, like, is the one fucking everybody up with knives and shit.
Yama?
His real name is something Uaz. And so it's him and the long-haired guy. His name is Yayan Ruayan. I'm butchering it. But the guy that we watched in the short film with the long hair... He's for one thing, he's a pretty fairly known stuntman. Yeah, Mad Dog. Him and the main character led the fight choreography. So like you get that influence from them because they're both really talented martial artists. I mean, the speed these guys move at with the accuracy is part of what makes it so fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Also, these guys are almost in every fucking movie
together
that the director has made.
Yeah, literally the Star Wars movie he made they're in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They were actually in fucking Star Wars 7.
Yeah, he didn't. Did he direct
Force
that one?
Awakens or whatever?
Who directed?
No. I don't know if he directed it.
That was the sequel to it. So
whatever the second movie
is. So the garbage one he's in.
Force Awakens.
Oh, they were in Force Awakens. Yeah, because
Yeah.
when they show up,
When
I
Han
like
Solo comes back.
we're in the theater and they show up and I'm like, it's the dude from the fucking raid. And my wife was like, get away from me, stupid. I don't know. Like she's like, I don't. At that point, she literally just watched it not too long ago. She's like, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm
Like,
watching.
shut
the movie.
up. There's worms that are about to eat these guys.
Yeah, yeah. She's like,
Shut up.
I'm watching the marginal Star Wars movie. Leave me alone. But
No,
yeah,
but,
yeah, I love these. Oh man.
But how do you say it? Aiko, Yayan,
Yeah,
and
you should just
fucking
stop.
Sub-Zero. Those guys are all
His
three.
name is
like
you literally butcher Iko Uwas
Joe.
and Joe Tals was it Joe Talsum and you rather it's like Sub-Zero. His name is fucking Joe.
Well, people don't recognize who Joe is. Joe.
He's Sub-Zero.
I'm gonna say
Sub-Zero.
Joe Talsum from The
No,
Night
but-
Comes for Us. His
But
starring role.
the three of those guys are pretty much in like a lot of fucking movies
Dude, they're awesome.
with the same director, by the way.
Well, what other movies have there been with Gareth Evans?
Well, fuck it. Let's click on fucking Rama. He did. God, I gotta go back that up. Oh God. So it was Raid Redemption. Of course, Raid 2. Mad Dog was in there too, even though he died in the first one.
Well, no, they left it on. Dude, they're literally only in the Raid and Raid 2. Or
Headshot. Headshot.
Yeah, but Gareth Evans didn't direct Headshot.
No. Okay. Let
No.
me go back to him.
That
then.
was directed by the Moe brothers. Keanu Reeves directed Man of Tai Chi, which if you haven't seen that movie, it's actually worth a watch.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, he's in it too. It's a good movie. The Night Comes for Us was directed by Timo, not going to say that name. Stuber, which he was in, was directed by Michael Dowse. Triple Threats, it's got Scott Adkins in it, kind of lower budget. Wait a second, he's in Snake Eyes? All right, so I just found out two really awesome things. A, he's in Snake Eyes, which now makes me want to instantly watch it.
$19.
B, they did a second season of Wu's Assassins on Netflix.
What?
Yeah, Wu's Assassins is a show with Iko, whatever his last name, with a lot of the same kind of fight choreography. Not as rough, but good. They did, the season 2 apparently is in post-production. That's amazing.
So-
Oh, nice.
So, VHS 2 was actually directed and written by this director too, as well.
I can't wait for VHS 94, dude.
I know the trailer looked
Oh
amazing.
man, the fact that they're taking it back
I
to the
haven't
gritty
watched
film
it.
stuff. So you remember how good the first one is because it's so kind of old and gritty. It's all set during that period, and except for the one video, it looks like it might be the future, the first person. That I can't
Okay.
fucking wait for that movie. When is it released? The 6th, I think Lewis said.
October 6th or
October
There
6th,
is
I believe.
Yeah.
3, 6, 9,
Halloween
12.
comes out the 15th, I think.
There's like
Yeah.
15. There's like 15 TV series or movies that's going to be released in October for Halloween.
I'm down with that.
As far as horror genre,
I'm down with
I
that.
gotta find it. I gotta send you the link.
I'm
I gotta
definitely
find
down
it
with
again.
that. Fuck yeah, more the merrier.
But it's TV series or a movie.
I wish HBO would either get the rights for Tales from the Crypt so I could stream it, or make
Oh,
that
that'd be
goddamn
fucking
box
awesome.
set you released fucking available again, you twats. Alright, so, The Raid. Simple story. You can argue it's, for one thing, it's based off of a manga or graphic novel.
Mhm.
So that's the first thing. There is a problem with this movie, and I don't know if it's a problem with this movie. I think it's more of a problem with Dredd. But the Dredd reboot and this movie are virtually the same exact fucking storyline.
Yep.
Officers of the law go into a mega tower
I was gonna say that to you.
and they gotta survive to get out. Literally a simple story, but very Dredd really samples heavily from what the Raid, not the fighting style, but the overall idea story really takes from it.
Yeah.
That's my one problem actually with Dredd is because I love the Raid so much. Dredd's kind of like, no, you're stealing. Like this concept's
Yeah.
kind of stealing, but
there's only slight differences. Like in this one, it's an unsanctioned move on this building. You find out later on. In Dread, it's a sanctioned move, but it's the same shit.
well, it's a
Big guy at
sanctioned
the
move-
top.
It's a sanctioned move by him. Like that's the thing
Yeah.
about Dredd is like he's the only one that needs to decide.
So the director actually wanted to make this actually in prison, but because they had a budget constraint, They actually did it just in the fucking building. So that's why when Raid 2 came out, it was in the prison.
Did anybody watch this movie with the English dub on?
I didn't watch. I watched it straight up.
No, I watched it straight
So
reading.
the English dub is pretty terrible, but
Yeah.
there is a part at the end of the movie when he's got the main bad guy, like the corrupt guy's got the bad guy with the gun to his head.
Yeah.
And there's a
the
point
cop.
where the line is, "Are you a big man?" Or "You're a big man" with the gun, and the voice actor's like, "You're a big man, huh?" It was very like Nicolas Cage reminiscent, and it makes me laugh every time I fucking hear it. And I only
watch it though.
that scene I only think of is literally the voice to "Big man, huh?" It's just the tonal inflection's just totally fucking weird and funny to me. Just a little
And that was
side
all
note.
text version, or
That was the dubbed version, the
or
English.
oh,
dub.
you actually watch it? Oh,
I have
okay.
seen it so many times. I've seen it subtitles. I've seen it to
So
where I'm
you
like,
did it for fun, just to watch
I've,
it. Okay.
I've watched it to where it's like I only want to watch the fight scenes, and then I end up watching most of the movie in the English dub. Yeah, I've watched it with the original soundtrack, with the Mike Shinoda, whatever the fuck his name is, the soundtrack. I've watched this movie an exorbitant amount of times, and the sequel. The sequel not as much because it's longer. It's like 2.5
You
hours
get a
long.
life.
I do. What is your Call of Duty pass at again?
What do you mean?
What is your battle pass at in Call
Oh,
of
my
Duty?
my
Yeah, your
my
battle
level?
pass. Yeah, your level.
Oh yeah, I'm almost at 300.
And how long have you been leveled up to 100% on the battle pass this season? How many days?
At day 15.
Day 15, and I need
Out
to
of
get a
60
life.
something.
You know how much
Out of
time it
60
takes to
something.
fucking get to that point in Call of Duty? I'm talking about skimming through a kung fu movie at 1 a.m. You're over here
4
up until
hours.
4
4
playing
hours
Call
a
of
day.
Duty. Yeah,
4 hours a
Nice.
day.
7 days a week, 6 months out of the year.
You're not the only person I played the game with.
No,
My battle pass is
play it by
level 30 at
yourself, too.
Fortnite. So,
Oh
I
God, you play
can't
Fortnite?
stand
I haven't
Fortnite,
tried that.
bro.
I've never tried it, so I can't knock you.
That
No,
game,
my-
that
my-
game is meant for people on the spectrum. There's just
it's
something
a
like,
difficult game.
I
It's
can't
difficult to get through.
I can't fucking build shit while I'm playing the game.
well, the
But,
problem is it doesn't have accurate shooter mechanics.
It does not.
It's floaty as fuck, and then you got to deal with like the main game is building with shooting. Like,
But my six-year-old nephew plays, so when he wants to play, that's why I have it.
I mean,
That's nice,
I
that's
have
nice.
considered installing it and trying it again, but I'm afraid it's literally just going to be defragmenting my hard drive by being deleted so quickly. You know, like it's going to fragment my hard drive more to install it than uninstall it, than it might be worth to even try it, even though it's a free-to-play fucking game. But it's another one of those where the skins are crazy expensive and they could suck off.
Yeah.
That game is all about skins and shit. And Call of Duty, yes, I spent $20 technically on. I got 3 skins and 5 different weapon skins plus other shit. So technically, I got a pretty good fucking deal.
Did you include Judge Dredd?
Yeah, because I bought the 1 pack for 20 that came
Oh,
with
okay.
2400 CP, and then I just bought Judge Dredd
Okay.
with that. So I got 2
You
for
got
the,
Judge Dredd?
Yeah, I got
That's
2 for
awesome.
$1. So I want to play it and record it because I have a thing in my head I want to record, and when we load in, I'm gonna be like, oh, excuse me, all my friends are Dredd. I'm gonna record that over it.
Oh yeah, because we all are
Yeah.
actually yeah.
I want to
We
make
jump-
a
we
Judge
jump
Dredd
from the
Call of
plane.
Duty video for YouTube.
Helicopter.
So we're gonna have to play, and I'll just record the gameplay without my stupid face.
Oh my friends are Dredd.
All right, so the raid it's in first and foremost, it is a rough, violent movie.
Absolutely.
Which I like. I don't mind it.
In my opinion, you don't have movies like John Wick without the raid. You don't have the raid is as essential to modern martial arts hand-to-hand combat movies as Jackie Chan was to bringing it over to American audiences.
Absolutely.
This took the kung fu genre and turned it into something violent, visceral, and more realistic than it's ever been. Using a martial art no one's really seen much of that attacks
Realistic
tendons
or
and
in
joints.
certain realms over the top.
I mean, it's violent. I would say The Night Comes for Us is over the top. I wouldn't say this movie is over
Okay.
the top. I think this movie's
But
hardcore.
this one is a little bit over the top.
It's a
Not-
hardcore, violent movie. But is it over? It's over the top because no other movies have had the balls to do this. So it's over the top to you, but I think it's setting a
So
new
it-
standard. Because
Well,
look at John Wick.
when I okay,
Well, he's never seen John Wick.
We've seen
I've
the
seen the
one,
first.
right?
I've seen the first one.
Well, you haven't. Yeah, I mean, the John Wick. Well, the first one. The
my only
second
question
one is
is
more of a good example of what John Wick is because it's like pure violence.
my only question is moving in progression of Rumble in Bronx, Kiss of the Dragon to Raid. Realistic.
Yep.
Is there a lot of what's because I know what the kung fu or the fighting style that they use is a realistic fighting style, but how much of it is actually real? So like the part about when they draw the gun and the knife, how much of it is real? Just fucking stab him in the head or shoot him in the head or whatever. So you get
No,
what I'm.
that guy he
Yeah,
points
that is
out like
cockiness. That's cockiness on the
no,
man's.
he said that he didn't like guns because it was like cheating.
Yeah,
Like, he liked the thrill
that's
of
cockiness
combat.
Same where he's like,
yeah,
it's
that's
right here,
cockiness. I mean,
and then he's
yeah,
like, "This
Hmm.
is what I do." That's a badass scene too.
Oh, it's
but
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his little
but
speech is
leading up
quite
leading up
amazing.
to that, even going through the hallways, the fighting style, yes, a lot of that is realistic, but the amount of damage a person could take, is it realistic? That's the only thing I'm saying is, how much of it, that's what I'm saying. It's just a little bit over the top. But I did fucking enjoy all
Well,
the fucking fighting.
how much damage what person could take?
Anybody,
I mean, he
anybody.
literally clears a hallway by stabbing, slicing, and punching them. Some of the guys even get murdered. Like there's the one where the door frame breaks and he fucking pulls him his throat to it.
Oh, that's my favorite fucking kill scene, by the way.
You've got
I,
I mean
I
you've got the cop who's crawling who stabs the guy to death. I mean, here's the thing: is every time he swipes though, like he's either going at the joints where it's in here underneath the knees, or he's going down the actual meat. Like there's like that's the thing is, I mean, when you got a knife, I don't think getting stabbed in the forehead is something you get up from. Not right away. And I
oh,
mean, the violence compared to martial arts movies before it, you can say is over the top. I think it's the problem is it's hard for me to say this movie's over the top when you have The Night Comes for Us or even Raid 2, which was arguably more violent than this one. I mean,
You know what it
there's some
is?
rough scenes
And
in
I
Raid 2.
and I see it in even rated R movies or martial art movies we've watched up until this point. Most martial art movies, when somebody gets stabbed or something gets broken, it's a quick shot. This movie is not afraid to show you the full scale of beginning to end of that
And that's why
immediate
yeah,
damage.
yeah.
and here's an example because I know Alex hasn't seen John Wick 3, right? Here's an example of how that the level of violence in the Raid has become somewhat of the new standard for successful action rated R movies because in John Wick 3 in one of the fight scenes there's literally a scene where they're knife fighting and he's got a knife to the guy's eyeball and without cutting away they show John Wick slowly push the knife into his eyeball and you hear it pop and and
Okay.
and, and that is as mainstream as you could get. So that's where my argument would be of like when it came out I think you could say like for its time it was over the top violent. I think
Oh no,
I
no, no,
think
you,
I think
you're good.
post its release it's changed the industry where like if you have a balls to the wall action movie that isn't as violent as the Raid 1, what are you doing?
Mhm.
You're missing what I'm saying by over the top. Like in progression of what we just saw in the three movies. Like, is it a realistic thing at the time? Can it be really done? But John Wick is a different movie. Moving forward, because we've already seen it. We saw what happens. But I'm saying for the raid, like as it starts, as he's going to the building, is it really like can he really do that? Blah blah blah.
Are you
I'm not
questioning his
saying
martial art ability? I'm confused at what you're
no,
saying.
no. I'm saying like we have the three different genres of the martial arts ability. We've got the funny guy, we've got the serious guy, and then we have a little bit over the top. That's what where the raid falls in. Where is it really going to happen like that? No, maybe not.
I mean, you're literally talking about realistic logic in kung fu movies. Is a Chinese agent really going to have to run around France for survival? I mean, you can say that about any of the movies.
Okay.
I feel maybe I'm misunderstanding because like I don't fully understand what the point is of what you're trying to make.
I'm just saying like is it 100% of
I'd argue when I say realistic, the fight scenes are more realistic. As in
Yeah,
when you watch
but
Jackie Chan, it's
overall,
goofy.
for
When
the
you
character, overall, do you really think he's going to survive all that shit as it
yeah,
goes along?
yeah,
You do?
yeah,
Okay.
and I can back it up by what happens in the raid too.
Okay. Because of the movie. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the raid 2 starts literally like
I'm just
12
talking about.
hours after the first one.
I'm just talking about like as a person as a martial artist or whatever as they go along. I'm just talking about how how do you think it could be realistic? That's what I was trying to
Well,
say.
I feel that
As it progresses,
I mean, I'm not going to argue storyline because I feel like the loosest part of this movie is its storyline. It's as simple as
yeah,
these guys are being led by a corrupt officer and they're led to death basically, and it's survival. It's a simple storyline.
yeah.
Um, but the fight scenes in particular
Well, I,
are
I enjoyed
are
all the fight
are
scenes.
more realistic. As in, Jackie Chan's Rumble in the Bronx are cheesy, somewhat goofy, but cool fight scenes. Jet Li is more realistic, more violent, however, still kind of cheesy in parts as far as the sound effects and how it works, and a little bit in certain areas. There's still some of that little bit like Asian influence into the humor, plus the French influence. These guys don't have a sense of humor in these movies. The Raid is a movie that has no humor.
There
It,
is no
it,
humor.
it is 15, 20 minutes of setup, and the rest of the movie is various members of the squad dying and trying to survive. What culminates into some of the, in my opinion, the best. Well, not even my opinion. I mean, literally the long-haired dude and the guys we watched in the short earlier that you showed.
Yeah,
Those guys are part of are a big part of the choreography team for John Wick 3. Those two guys have a fight scene with John Wick at the end of the
Mad Dog.
movie. So I'd argue that the fact that you're seeing once again, you don't get any more. The only more mainstream you get than John Wick is the Avengers or Marvel movies. Like you don't get more mainstream in an action rated R movie than John Wick. Any of them. Full wide releases, hundreds of millions of dollars these movies have made. So when you see direct influence from these guys, these choreographers, these actors, these martial artists in that level of mainstream, I mean, you can't argue the effect and how it's now changed the landscape. Look at Shang-Chi. The whole conversation about Shang-Chi is, oh, for a Disney or Marvel Disney product, the fight scenes are amazing. They still don't hold the candle to the Raid.
Mhm.
Because they can't, because Marvel's got to have some whimsy, some fantasy. That you can't realistically show that if you punch somebody's face and they bleed, and that's a problem. That's why they'll never, that movie, I don't care how good the fight scenes are, will never hold a candle to The Raid or A Night Comes for Us or A Headshot or any of the John Wicks at this point, because they can't go past a certain boundary. And I think that's the evolution of action movies in general. We went soft, we went kind of in, we were in our WWE PG-13 era, or PG era for the past decade, and I think both in the horror and the action genres, you're seeing kind of a return to balls to the wall rated R stuff. I mean, did you guys watch Malignant yet?
I have not.
Weird
No.
fucking movie. James Wan must sleep on piles of cash because he didn't give a fuck. He did whatever he wanted in that movie.
Oh, did he?
It literally it's 5 different fucking movies in one. The movie itself is a fucking schizophrenic. I actually liked it, but it's everything from a monster movie to a revenge movie to a haunted house movie to a. There's 3 more genres I'm sure if I watched it again I could find. It's a weird one. It's he literally was like he's got the soundtrack of Saw in a haunted ghost monster movie mashup with a revenge V for Vendetta style. And when you watch it, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. He literally was just like, I'm going to make a movie that is basically 6 movies in one. And if you don't like it, I'm fucking James Wan. I produced how many Saw movies now? I've directed how many other movies? Go fuck yourself. I created Saw. What do you want?
I'm Rick James, bitch.
Basically, he drops the mic. He's like, he doesn't. James Wan picks what he wants to do. That's where he's at in his career. There's no other way. He's not. Oh yeah, no. I guess I'll take this. I need the money. My family's. It's no. I'm gonna reject that. I got other stuff I'd like to do. I'm gonna go make What was that movie? Was it not Teeth? The one with Justin Long, Tusk. He's gonna go make Tusk
Oh
2,
God.
and people will eat it out of his fucking hands. It's weird. But yeah, so
And Kevin Smith's gonna fucking be my co-star.
boo hoo hoo, fuck him. Anyways, Kevin Smith is like somebody that goes from like I kind of like you to like, dude, get away from me. Like he's kind of that kid that like every now and then you're like, yeah, you
I
can hang
hate
out
him.
with
I
us.
hate him 75% of the time.
I gotta say, I do love Clerks 2. It's one of my favorite comedies, like of all time. All right, let's do because once again with the martial arts movies, you can talk about them, but at a certain point, it just delves into like, oh yeah, this kill was awesome and this fight scene. I'll give my final thoughts. This is a 5. It's 5 hot dogs or 5 kung fu dogs straight up. You aren't gonna. I mean, you're gonna find better now. I would. My movie I'll point to is both The Raid 2. However, I do feel The Night Comes for Us takes top spot. Night Comes for Us is the best of this type of movie you can watch that's out there right now, hands down. With that said, The Raid is the reason why we have these other movies. The Raid should be and is highly regarded as one of the best martial arts movies ever made. Easy 5. Don't question it. Go watch it. It's streaming on Hulu, both of them, 1 and 2. Go watch them. If you like martial arts movies in any capacity and you haven't seen it, it will probably blow you away a little bit, especially if you're from the old school. Like I like Jackie Chan, that type of mentality. You're gonna be like, holy fuck, simple as that. 5.
Mr. Joe.
One of you bobbleheads want to talk?
This movie, watching the progression, because we actually picked 3 movies that really stood the test of time in their period. And watching the progression of martial arts.
Filmed in fucking Ontario.
Watching the progression of martial arts in each movie was pretty phenomenal. I do like that I watched them in order. I did it in the order we reviewed it. Once I got to The Raid, I understand why Matt enjoys it so much. I understand why John Wick is the movie it is and why it's so popular. And yeah, we need more martial art movies like this.
I hope that Netflix buys every single one of them and I can watch every single one of them straight to streaming. Like I would be okay if they pumped out 10 a year. I would eat them up.
Yeah,
I'd be their number one fan.
Good.
I'd buy every
They're
one of them.
Perfectly good. And the story, it's a little wonky. It's cohesive though. It's cohesive enough. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's not illogical. Like they basically by the end of it, you know who the corrupt guys are. You know who the bad guys definitely are. You know, there's a twist of one of the characters that Alex's head is now blocking. That comes into play later on in the movie. So like, they do a good enough job of keeping some mystery. Once again, every fight scene is top notch. The one with Joe Talsim and the short guy is a crazy fight scene.
Yes.
Joe Talsim is so much bigger than him. And
Mad Dog?
Yeah, and Mad Dog still fucks him up. And the end of that scene
Ernie Reyes Jr.'s doppelganger.
It's particularly brutal.
Jesus.
Because like it literally has that end where he kind of like at the end it's got that weird music and he kind of hangs there before he kills him, just kind of like soaking it in. It's a cool scene, and that's why I wanted to avoid going into like that.
And even in certain certain methods of filming, like when there's a scene where a bomb goes off, and I don't want to ruin it for you, but one of the cops' hearing gets kind of damaged.
Yeah.
And they make you feel what it's like.
Yeah.
When you can't hear,
your eardrums fucked up.
In that kind of scenario, and it's completely silent.
You don't
and people are running around, and it's pretty cool. It's really cool.
The grenade propane tank in the fridge. Yeah, that's pretty slick that he does that too. Also, when he's chopping into the floor, the camera angle they give him is a little bit like The Shining, how it's like following the axe down. Really cool. Like Gareth Evans, I think he actually did Godzilla in 2008. I think that's his movie.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's actually done some high profile shit. Say what you want about whatever he's done. He's got an eye for martial arts and action.
He does.
The Raid 2 proves it. He's got a higher budget. He takes it outside of the building, so it's like a legit full on movie. And he does a really good job on that one too. I can't say good enough things about this film. And then the other thing is the sequel is Like it's just as good, if not better. It expands on it.
Yeah.
You get a higher budget, you get a deeper story. The story is actually a little bit reminiscent of an Infernal Affairs. Basically, he ends up going from surviving the incident to going undercover, where basically he's told, like, go to prison, make good, and then the movie follows its track, and from there on you're talking it spans years.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
So,
watch the part 2 tomorrow, but this is a 5 for me as well.
so the Raid and then Raid 2 was his first couple, or VHS 2, and then Raid 2. Those. It wasn't
He didn't do Godzilla.
no.
Who the fuck did Godzilla?
As far as director, no. But he does have the upcoming Deathstroke. Mhm.
That's all right.
We'll see what happens there.
Director.
No, but I myself, I did enjoy the movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I
Moranto is the first movie with these guys. And
Yeah.
I remember I told you about that movie because I was watching it because it's on Hulu or one of them. That movie is a stripped down budget. It's not nearly as violent, but does have the same sort of fight style as The Raid.
And before this, is the video I showed you guys, and then before that is the other one with the samurai that I'm trying to find, which was his first fucking film, his first short
Footsteps?
film. I wish I could have wish I
You're
could have
talking
found
about
it.
Footsteps?
No, way before that.
A young man called
It was
Andrew is
it was
forced to endure a
2001.
bitter encounter with a man known as Cameraman.
In 2001,
Oh.
he had another short film that I wish I could. It was about a samurai. But the one I showed you guys, that was fun, and that was a short film that he did in 2003.
He's only been in one of his movies.
Yeah.
He even was the action choreographer. So he was in
Oh,
there
wow.
filming on
For the same movie.
No,
For
on
the same movie?
no, on the Raid and stuff. He was
Oh,
in there when
okay.
they're doing the fight scenes. That's him rolling on the camera.
Where's he from? He's like Danish or something like that.
I think he's actually got 8. Well, I don't know. Let's see.
He Danish or
Where I don't know where his fucking trivia section is. IMDb is failing me at the moment. Personal details, lackluster. They don't really say where he's from. What if he's just
God.
from like Texas?
But he's a white. He's a
He's
English
definitely
dude
he's
or
definitely a pale face.
white dude. Yeah,
he's
pale
from the UK.
face.
He's British. Yeah,
But
he's
his love
he's
his
from
love
Wales.
for his love for fucking samurai style is very prominent.
Please tell me Havoc is the sequel to The Night Comes for Us. He's got a movie coming out. Oh, wow. He's got a movie coming out called Havoc. In 2022, it's a British action thriller written and directed by him, starring Tom Hardy, set to be released on Netflix. Here's the cast.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. It's 3:19 in the morning.
Venom.
Tom Hardy, Forrest Whitaker, Timothy Oliphant, Justin Cornwell, Jesse Maylee, Luis Guzman. Dude, he's got a serious.
Pachanga.
When does this come out? I want to see it. It began filming in July of this year. Production scheduled to wrap in October, so it's not even done filming. So it'll be another next year, but I'm looking fucking forward to that.
That's awesome.
And he also, there's a show, I assume, called Gangs of London. It's a British action crime drama.
That is a TV show. That is a TV show right now.
He has directed episodes 1, 5, and he does most of the action sequences on that show.
1.9 from first season, and then 2.1 from second. So 3 episodes.
I have to now check out that show, I think. All right, Alex, did you give your hot dogs?
I did not.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna give it 0. No, I'm just kidding.
Idiot.
I was waiting for you to turn your head. No, for me,
doing that.
I'm gonna give this like a 4.5 because I did really enjoy the movie, but anything stopping me from giving it a 5 was because it is believable to an extent as far as the progression of what we just saw, and I just think like there was something that was stopping it from being 100% believable, and I fucking love that scene where he's got that fight with the guy and he fucking dives backwards and drives on the door and he fucking kills him.
Yeah, puts his
That's
throat
my
to it.
favorite fucking kill
I
out
don't
of the
know what
whole.
my favorite kill is, to be honest with you.
Well, that was my favorite. That was my fucking favorite.
My favorite kill in Kiss of the Dragon is when he like pile drives the dude and puts his neck down.
That was mine as well.
I was watching it with Jen and she goes, "Oh shit!"
That was mine as
like,
well.
She was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, oh, I don't. There's
He
so
fucking
many.
pile drives him. He fucking cracks.
I mean, there's so
his neck
many
sideways.
rapid fire kills in this, but it's got to be. I mean, the best kill has got to be the long haired dude when they take the fucking light bulb to his throat and stretch that bitch out.
Yeah,
I mean, that whole fight scene, and then literally
that was a long progression.
Once the brother stabs him in the neck with it, though, he's fighting, and you're seeing blood gush out of it, like David fucking Arquette.
But there wasn't enough blood.
What?
I don't know.
Go watch the movie again. You were sleeping or something. That whole fucking scene is there's blood.
No, because
as soon as he gets stabbed, there's blood all over the floor.
No. Yes, there is. But it stops.
Oh, it doesn't. Never. I've seen this movie fucking 12 times at least. It until they drop him and it is not. He is not gushing blood out of it at the moment he grabs him. But he's also on a downward angle, so gravity wouldn't shoot it out.
Okay.
No. The whole time he's fighting after he gets hit with that, which is only maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds. He is gushing blood out of it. It's not very long from like when they get him to when they finish him. But until then, they're getting their ass whoops the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
He's fucking up both of them. And the brother's not that. In the Raid 2, basically, you find out what the brother's fate is immediately. He's the first scene. And it's rough. God, I'm going to go watch the Raid 2 again. Fuck. I literally
I'm going to watch it tomorrow.
I watched the Raid 1 last night. I skimmed through it again to like listen to the unrated soundtrack and shit. I'm just like, this movie's so good. It's so easy to skip the first 20 minutes and then just let it roll. There's like one other slow part when they're going through the house and he puts the machete through the wall and cuts him.
Yeah.
I skip through that too because they build that guy with the machete up to be so like badass, and then he ends up getting the shit kicked out of him by
he just gets destroyed.
And then that other guy who's with him, who's like stops at the stairs and just has that stupid look on his face. Or when he runs out of the doorway, and this is when before they corner Eco to where he can't, so he has to fight him. And there's the one kid, like younger kid, who's like stops at the main square center area and just like looks down. And then when they corner him, he like pushes them to the side and moves forward. And then he's the one that gets the fucking throat on the door frame. He gets like the worst death of that entire group. All right, this is another episode of the Nerdattude Movie Podcast. Done.
Why did you gave yours?
Yeah, he did 5.
I gave it a 5.
Okay.
We did have one unanimous, which was all 4s on Kiss of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, you'll be seeing this episode on the channel. We'll be recording the first week of October, which we will release the first week of October. Or we're recording the first week of Halloween, which will release the first week of October. And the plan for that is we're going to be recording the second week of Halloween as well. And I think we're going to record it on Friday, and I'm going to edit it and get it out by Sunday to still count as the second week.
I'll gladly pay you on Tuesday for a burger today.
Exactly. No. But yeah, so we have a full Halloween schedule coming up again. All October, we've got another, 15, how many movies is it? 15?
75.
36.
Yeah, it's 5 weeks this time, and it's 3 movies a week.
15, yeah.
So
and it's awesome because each of us chose a movie.
I'm not the list guy, so I don't know.
Last year it was only 12 because there was only 4 Fridays in October. Because there's 5 in October this year, we're going to be able to squeeze an extra week, so it's now 15 movies.
It's like 4-3, 4-3, 4-3, 4-3. Because, opposites of the Lewis not being there.
Yeah, okay, the numbers of us being there. Well, no, Lewis is going to be in all episodes except 1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he'll be with us on all of them except for the one that we chose for our week, which was, I think, American Werewolf in Paris, and then that's all you get, motherfuckers. All right.
That's the second movie. That's all you get, motherfuckers.
That's my sequel to I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
The Wolfman's got nards. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, everybody. We will talk to you next time. We will be seeing you soon for October. Have a good night, day, whatever time it is in your zone.
Good day, mate.
The